Welcome back to Off the Console. This is the hottest podcast on the internet, and we talk about gaming, we talk about tech news, and all things nerdy. This week, I'm joined by my friends James and High Tech Low Life. How you doing, my friends?
Doing all right.
Doing amazing. Doing amazing. Just woke up. At least I slept.
Yeah, I had a weird night's sleep too, and but now I'm here. I'm ready to do this. I've First time we've all been together since the Game Awards, which is exciting. And this week we're actually talking about some big news in the industry. We're talking about uh, Balatro was rated 18 plus by Peggy, which is hilariously wrong. And then we also are going to talk about Sony buying out Katakawa, right? That's wild. Um, yeah, let's start off the show with what have you guys been playing this week or the last few weeks, I should say.
Well, I've been grinding it out on Marvel Rivals, but I've also been playing a game called Code Bunny, which is it's developed by an indie developer. It's pretty good. It's like Mega Man. You guys have played Mega Man, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Code Bunny is pretty good. I mean, it's kind of like it leans more on like the arcadey style of gameplay these days, of course, naturally. I don't know if people are really interested in that anymore, but I am. I am. So I think you guys should give it a shot if you're into like Mega Man and stuff.
Nice.
I want to take a shot at is Marvel Rivals. I have it added. I need to download it fully, and I want to try it because I've only heard good things about it. Um, I love Overwatch, but because of a lot of decisions over the years, it's just gotten kind of boring and whatever else. And so something, even though I'm not the biggest superhero like game fan, beyond the Batmans, it's very intriguing for me. But as far as what I've been playing, trying to get back into Persona 5 so I can get that wrapped up so I can play some of their um better Persona 5 is good, but it's so long. So I'm trying to wrap it up so I can play some other RPGs.
Nice. I have been playing the heck out of Beat Saber.
That's such a fun game.
Oh, it's so good. I
Oh,
had
dude.
I had the most wild experience that I've ever had playing any game yesterday. I had my headset on and I was playing a custom track. I believe it was Uptown Funk. And for some reason, and it's not even like a challenging track. It's not. I mean, it's very easy. I always like hit every note. Um, but there's just something about the way that you're moving when you do it, and I just my conscious mind was completely off, and I was just a creature slashing notes in a void, and suddenly I just realized that my swings were like way harder than normal,
Oh
and
God.
I was like breathing way heavier than I normally do, and it was just like this transcendent moment. And by the time I finished the song, I had to take my headset off, and I literally shed a tear or two. I was like so emotional after it. It was crazy.
Damn. That sounds great. You said that you were swinging harder than you ever thought before.
Yeah.
You've ever swung before. Almost made me think that you maybe like broke a vase or something in your house.
Oh no, like I have a completely clear play space. The only thing that I could have done is if I had like turned around, I could have hit like some pictures on the wall, but no, I was just like swinging really hard, and like my muscles are sore from it. Like I was so completely entranced by it. It was wild.
Oh,
Dude.
that's the best. Getting in the zone, and then you can just and you can burn a lot of calories doing that too. I
Oh
like
yeah.
it as a workout. I need to get my VR set up again. Which VR headset were you using with that?
I have the index.
Yeah, man, I need to set up my
Ooh.
index.
Yeah, it's so nice. I've tried the Quest to I don't know from 2023, I think. I don't know. But I've tried one of the quests and I was like not impressed by it compared to the index. So
I
I've
want to
had
get.
my index since 2019. I bought it to
Yeah.
play Half-Life Alex.
Yep. Same.
Yeah.
It's not mine's in a box right now because I just don't have like my office right now doesn't I need to set it up somewhere else, but
Yeah.
I am looking at getting one of those the Meta Quests, the Meta Quest like 3, just for the sole purpose that I play like Beat Saber, because I really do like that as a workout.
Yeah, I set up my living room PC so that I don't have to turn on the TV or anything. It just automatically logs in, and I just push the button, it's on, and then I can put my headset on and play.
I just need a Deckard. Honestly, they need to come out with a Deckard,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
Yeah, they
So excited for Deckard.
one day we'll get the Deckard, right?
Yeah.
Right. I was hoping they would announce that during the Game Awards or like I don't know, Half-Life 3.
Well, I was surprised we don't have this on the stories actually, but Valve is going to be at CES this year.
Shit.
Did you
Oh.
hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yes, yes, I did actually.
Dude, okay.
God.
So
I need to
Alright.
look at getting tickets.
maybe we
I-
were talking about before we started. Maybe that should be the opening story. I don't know, but
We can still make it the opening story. We can talk about it right now.
well, okay. So we've been talking about on my channel. We've been talking about the Legion Go S, right? Like the leaked,
Right.
potentially SteamOS powered.
Oh, right. I know what you're
And-
talking. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
and,
Yes,
and
yes,
all-
yes.
like the product photos, there's a couple of them that have leaked, and there's a black version that has like the Steam logo next
Right.
to like the button, and then on the other side there's a quick access button, but on the white version there isn't. Right, there isn't like the Steam and the quick access buttons. They're not labeled that way anyway. So, I think it was Friday. Valve said that I think it was Friday because I released my video and then people in the comments were like, "Why didn't you talk about this?" It's like I do my videos a day before they go out. But Lenovo said that they would be joined by Valve at CES. So there's a ton of potential for interesting things. Maybe we'll just get SteamOS 3, but maybe we'll get announcements of other hardware and even potentially software. I get my hopes up. I get my hopes up.
Yeah.
I had
Get
my
your
hopes
hopes
up
up.
for the Game Awards. I was hoping that,
Oh, yeah.
that Gabe Newell was going to walk out on that stage and be like, "Here's Half-Life 3, bro."
I guess it is more appropriate for CES. Yeah, so apparently it's Valve's Pierre-Luc Fay
Yeah.
and Microsoft's Jason Ronald, who I've never heard of.
He's senior vice president of corporate doublespeak or something like that, right?
Let's find out. Let's find out.
My question is, I know he's a senior vice president of something at Microsoft.
Yeah.
But where are the actual presidents of whatever? And why don't they ever give quotes? It's always like, Jason, whatever his name is, from senior vice president of Microsoft's corporate acquisition division. Where's the president of corporate acquisitions, right? Like, what the heck's up with that?
Man, and I'd even excuse it too if they were like, I feel like they were better experts at like both talking and the subject, but I don't even feel like they're that.
No.
Yeah, it's because all the tech companies have they've hit their stride, and I don't think the presidents do much in the sense of like limelight like they used to get the good old days of Microsoft CEOs coming out, developers kind of stuff,
Yeah.
the good stuff.
And celebrity endorsements from people like The Rock. I remember.
Oh yeah.
I remember good times, man. So do you think Valve's going to unveil any of their own hardware besides, I don't know, Legion Go support?
Well, I mean, it sounds like Pierre-Loup is going to be there, and if there's someone who's going to reveal hardware, it'll be Pierre-Loup, or Lawrence Yang. I mean, those two are like kind of the figureheads of the hardware division at Valve. So, I would think, yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I really hope that we see something Fremont, Deckard, something. That's what I would love to see. At CES, and that's March, right? So or is that
January.
No, it's coming
like-
up in a few weeks.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
January
But-
7th through 10th. I'm looking at it because I'm not that far away from Vegas.
Mm.
We'll see.
Should
I
we
might.
send you to be special correspondent?
Dude, you should be special correspondent for us.
Get my mic.
The Fox and Retro Game Core are going to be there. I know that much.
Nice.
I keep on meaning to sign up and see what it takes. I was meaning to do it like a month ago, and
Is it too late?
stuff. No, it's usually not. But to get a pass like a
Like an industry pass?
industry pass or something like that might be much harder now.
Well,
yeah,
I think you should do it.
if Valve's going to be there, it's got me much more motivated. And I have heard those. I don't even know if they're rumors at this point. It's confirmed. But my take on this is that we're for sure getting SteamOS 3 on a different device. Like SteamOS is going to be on a different device. That's like 100%, I think, confirmed at this point if they're partnering with Lenovo. Yeah. That would be silly not, I think. But, and if that's all they're partnering with and they're only going there with Lenovo, then that's all we'll get, I think. Unless Lenovo has a secret fourth device to reveal, because they're already kind of being silly with their 3 devices that they're going to come out with next year, which is the Legion Go S, the Legion Go S Plus. Am I right on that? And then the Legion Go 2.
Legion Go S Plus? Now that I haven't heard.
I know they have 3 devices and they all have different CPUs and stuff in them.
Yeah, they have different. I don't know about the S Plus, but it's something like that. I covered it in my stream like a couple days ago, but it's
So I am interested. Yeah, so I do hear that they're coming out with a Legion Go, like, I don't know if it's a Legion Go 2 or Legion Go OLED, but it does have an OLED screen. And it is more like the Legion Go, where you have the detachable controllers, the mouse mode, and the kickstand. And that has me pretty excited because
what's the screen size on that one? If it's this 8-inch one, then it's that's Legion Go 2.
Yeah, I believe it's the same size as the Legion Go, like original.
Then it's the Legion Go 2. I think the other 2 are smaller devices, like they're 7-inch Steam Deck esque competitors, and then the Legion Go 2 is going to be what's going to take place. Like, it's their flagship, essentially.
Okay, but here's another thing too. Do you think Valve is all of a sudden going to stop making their own like Steam Decks? Do you think so? I don't think so personally, but I know some people have been concerned about this.
Here's my thing. I don't think people should be concerned. I think if Valve did stop, they have faith in whoever's going to take over, or the multiple third parties they're going to take over. It sounds like, and this is usually how Valve works, is that if their engineers, if the employees or whoever it is, if they're working on something, especially if they're senior, and they get enough people working on it, it is a priority of the company because they're very flat structured in a lot of ways. With some exceptions, of course, but that's why Half-Life has been on and off on the rails, is that people don't want to work on it because they're really worried that they're going to make it a flop in some ways. They want to work on innovative stuff. That's just how Valve is. So they're still talking about Steam Deck, and like additional Steam Decks would confirm that we're going to be getting more Steam Decks. That being said, is it going to translate into, are we going to get a Steam Deck 2, or are we going to get like a Steam like Deckard project where maybe that is the Steam Deck 2 where it can do both? I'm curious about that. I don't think they're going to stop with their hardware, but they're usually try to innovate usually when they come out with new stuff. But they have been rocking the trend of here's a white one. That was a little weird for Valve to come out just with a white version of the Steam Deck. So they might be rocking their trend of doing innovative stuff, and they might do more iterative stuff for the next few years, maybe.
Yeah, well, even before that, they made the OLED model too, which I mean isn't upgraded in every capacity, but like
it upgraded enough. Honestly, going from Steam Deck 1 to the Steam Deck OLED, I didn't think it was going to be a big enough upgrade for me. I like it quite a bit more. Yeah, it's weird how much just fine tuning a couple of things helps. One of them being
just the fact that the OLED can be turned on with a remote, like a Bluetooth device.
Yeah,
that right there, it shows that they're really interested in expanding the hardware. I mean, that was a huge differentiator for me when it came to the Steam Deck with the OLED specifically.
Dude,
yeah. That and hardware bugs in the first iteration of the Steam Deck were prevalent. I modified that thing multiple Steam Decks over the first year and a half, and I broke a few in the process, and not in my fault, kind of breaking a few. In the sense of like I took them apart, put them back together. They'd work fine, but then they'd have to like, and I know I handled it fine. I've done stuff like this before, and like the daughter boards would fail and stuff like that. But like with the OLED, no issues with taking apart and all that. Like I haven't had the same issues I have had with Steam Deck, the OG. But yeah.
And
I got you.
I think the thing is, like, I mean, Hightech, you asked if we think Valve would stop making Steam Decks or their own hardware. And I think the answer is no, because there's two reasons. The first is because Valve learned their lesson from Steam Machine, where they gave over control of the ecosystem to third parties, which they were accustomed to at the time. But that ended up failing spectacularly.
Right.
And the other thing is, the Steam Deck has been an absolute runaway success for them. And despite the fact that the low tier models are like a loss leader, they're still making good amounts of money from selling Steam Deck hardware, and they're selling like gangbusters, even after it's been out on the market for what, 3.5 years or something at this point. So like, I think that it would be absolutely foolish. It would be Valve leaving money on the table if they just partnered with hardware manufacturers to distribute SteamOS. There wouldn't be any incentive for them to do that. And not to mention selling the hardware, but also like the attachment rate for, I mean, we don't know the answer to this, but we've heard from, vague answers from people at Valve that people who buy Steam Decks then go on to buy several more games than they would have otherwise.
Yep. You buy into the ecosystem. That's the whole point of the platforms and like consoles and stuff like that, is that once you get into the ecosystem, you're more likely to buy it for that because you're thinking about it, you have it. It's a very psychological thing, and it will be interesting to see how Valve goes about handling the next few years with this. I would definitely say, though, I would not put money down on them caring about leaving money on the table.
No, that's true.
Valve will, if they wanted more money, they would be hire a whole new team and build Half-Life 3. But they want to do it right. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they left money on the table to have integrity and to make more money in the future potentially. Yeah. Not a lot of companies think about future; they think about next quarter or yearly profits. So,
well, yeah, you're right. I mean, if they only cared about money, we would have Half-Life 8 by now.
Yeah, and Half-Life Remastered or remake.
Yeah, they wouldn't have released both anniversary Half-Lives.
Yeah,
for free. Yeah.
I could use a Half-Life 2 remaster.
Well, I mean, there's Half-Life 2 RTX. That's enough of a remaster. It's got the ray tracing and the computer destroying ray tracing too.
That's not out yet, is it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I've been keeping an eye on that because I'll be honest, I really want to play that.
I'm gonna try it, but I think it looks too different.
It looks different, and I'm here for it. But I haven't played it mods as much, but I used to be a huge mod fiend, and so even if it changed it a lot, I'd loved playing different iterations of Half-Life back in the day. So I'm here for it. Doesn't mean it's going to be my de facto Half-Life 2, but I'm here for it.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think we want to move on to the next story. We got some other stories we can talk about today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Actually, before we get to, sorry, James, what did you say?
Oh, I was just saying, like we've got some 18+ spicy stories coming up.
Heck yeah, dude! 18+.
Oh yeah.
Hightech, I'm gonna need to check your license. No. Before we get to the next story, though, I want to say if you enjoy this show, you can follow us on YouTube. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, I should say. You can follow our RSS feed at podcast.subscribe2.me, or you can engage with us on the Fediverse. We are at Off the Topic. Oh my God, I keep doing that. You can engage with us on the Fediverse. We are at Off the Console Show at podcast.subscribe2.me. And
insert fancy graphic here.
Fancy graphics, screenshots of the website, and all the above. All right, the next story that I want to talk about today is Balatro rated 18+ by Peggy. Now, High Tech, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, Balatro was rated 18 plus by PEGI, the European Game Rating Board. And essentially, it's rated 18 plus for, get this, gambling themes. Usually, the 18 plus rating is for like games with more extreme content. That would, it would make sense. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 is definitely 18 plus game, right? We're all in agreement with that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
So here's the real kicker, though. EA Sports FC 25, their FIFA game. They can't call it FIFA anymore because of license, whatever. Those games still have loot box style mechanics, gotcha style mechanics, if you will, where you open up packs of, I don't know if they're cards or like players or whatever, but you essentially buy multiples of these in hopes of getting your favorite like football players or whatever, and also like just better versions of them too. And those games are rated 3 plus for everyone. Basically, it's rated for everyone that has motor skills. Basically, if you have motor skills, you can play FC and start gambling there. But you can't play Balatro until you're a legal adult in America.
I agree with this. I don't need any children playing this game and ruining it for me. I'm just kidding.
Well, let's think about this, right?
Yeah.
Let's think about this, because Balatro is, on the face of it, superficially gambling related. But like that's just superficial, right? It's a poker game, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Ostensibly, if you don't know anything about it, you just look at it. It's a poker game. Whereas EA Sports FC hides its gambling, its actual real gambling, behind friendly loot boxes. So one has the appearance of gambling, where the other has actual gambling that's apparently okay for children to be victim to. I don't know. I just find that interesting. And EA Sports also has lots and lots of money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so a little behind this too is that there's a lot of these rating boards that are like the US, Europe, and all that started cracking down a few years ago on loot box in games and stuff like that. That's why I'm surprised that FC is getting a pass on this, is that they were starting to crack down on it, and they were actually, I think they have to post their drop rates and some other stuff potentially in those markets to not get slashed with, I don't even know if it was a rating system. Maybe it wasn't the rating system. Maybe it was that just actually sells. But there was a whole thing about loot boxes gambling. And I'm surprised to see now that it feels like if it's a 3+ rating, it's kind of walked back on this. I agree. Like, I do think that FC needs to be rated higher because of those loot boxes. Unless they do the loot boxes drastically different or hide those behind like a rated, because it can get very addicting, especially for kids. It's we know that matter of factly thing. Like my kids, I don't let them play stuff that has loot boxes really too much, but they still will open up, like they'll get free loot boxes with stuff that's you can't buy, and they get really into that. So it's very addicting, especially for kids looking for that dopamine hit. It's shocking, and it definitely looks like there's some money going on here with FC potentially making sure, or maybe it's just these rating boards are always all over the place with their ratings. So maybe they just saw face value, like, oh, football, everyone likes football. And of course, football in like Europe and the rest of the world is such a big deal that I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, well, it's football. Everyone should be playing football. As opposed to Balatro, which is, don't judge a book by its cover. They judged it by its cover. Who knows if they ever touched it. And giving it a rating of 18 plus. I'm wondering if they're going to correct this, because it's a very silly rating.
So the developer, LocalThunk, actually spoke with the PEGI board, and their justification for Balatro being 18 plus is that it teaches kids how to play poker, essentially. And their justification for FC 25 being 3 plus is that you always, quote unquote, win something when you pay for it and pay for a loot box and open something, which I guess is technically
that's how
true.
Gambling works. Oh, that's the whole, like, if you go to a casino, they're gonna let you win every little bit. Like, they're gonna let you win enough to get you excited, so you keep going and going and going. That is even worse in some ways.
Yeah, their definition of gambling is when you are going to lose money, right? Where like I guess
Mhm.
that's what they must be thinking. The
Uh,
the wild thing is like the loot boxes are like prima facie gambling. Like they and it's not about like you have the potential to lose money or a large amount of money. It's the fact that like you don't know what you're buying, and it's the randomness that of like opening that thing. That's the actual gambling mechanic. I'm curious if FC has like parental controls that like parents can like turn off loot
yeah.
boxes for kids, because if that's the case, that's a stupid loophole that these rating boards need to close. But I don't think they will, because there's lots of money involved.
Well, Peggy isn't a government like organization. It's also kind of like the ESRB we have in the USA. It's run by self-regulatory gaming studios. So like
It
it's
is,
not
and
really.
they get threatened to get controlled by the governments all the time. That's why they always toe this line.
Hmm.
I
So
mean, it's the only reason why the ESRB exists because the government wanted to regulate video games after Mortal Kombat came out or whatever.
yep,
So I will say that their main challenge that Balatro teaches kids how to play gambling is not entirely true. Like, sure, it'll teach you how to like make a full house or a four of a kind or a royal flush or a straight flush or a straight or whatever. It'll teach you all of the possible hand combinations. But I mean, there's a lot more to gambling than just knowing what you have. You have to contend with other players like at the table,
Yeah.
and you have to like it's a lot. It's very psychological. There's a lot of
yeah.
mind gaming aspect to it
Well, part of the
So
because
appeal of Balatro is how novel it is in terms of other mechanics, and
yeah,
I just find that a specious argument, honestly.
yeah, it is a crazy argument.
so yeah, like I would say the biggest differences on gambling is money involved or not. And with poker, you don't ever have to play with chips. You could play whatever. There's a lot of different ways. There's strip poker. That's not
Uh,
that's
Get some
not
skin in the game, baby.
get some skill. Exactly. You don't actually have to pay or anything. Like who hasn't played some poker growing up in your teens, preteens, whatever? Like it's and I don't like gambling. I don't gamble, but it's a fun game to get started in. That's just easy to play with a deck of cards. So it's it's a little silly to say that this is going to promote gambling when the game itself does not.
oh, I have done a lot of gambling in. I've been gambling since I was 18. Since I turned 18 in Indian reservation casinos. Because basically how it is that in most casinos they only let you gamble when you're 21 and up because they give you free alcohol. But
Yeah.
in like Indian reservation casinos, they don't give you free alcohol, so you can go there when you're 18. And that's how I paid for my college textbooks. Though poker wasn't my game
Oh
of choice.
my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, you're not making a good case for me. Like you're destroying my case here. Um,
Well, I'm also.
I'm-
I mean, I also like calculate my risks and everything too, and I don't attempt to count cards, but I do notice when like I don't know. It's kind of like that one movie. You guys ever see that one movie where it's some guy playing blackjack and he like wins a bunch of money to go to college or whatever, but then he gets kidnapped by the mafia.
That
uh,
sounds familiar, but I don't.
yeah.
Man.
It's kind of like that, but minus the whole mafia part.
Nice.
You did it right before you got kidnapped. Okay.
Yeah.
Would have had a very different story.
I
Huh.
wouldn't be. I wouldn't be on YouTube if I were kidnapped. Probably. I don't. Yeah, I mean, you never know. To be honest,
But
but
that's why you use a VTuber avatar rather than show your face.
Yeah,
Right?
okay. This is
It's all adding up now.
it's all adding up now. You're avoiding the mafia.
But anyways, yeah, I don't think
He knows how to
Balatro
clean
should be
his
rated.
subject.
Yeah.
No, just-
So what would you rate Balatro if you were Peggy?
Hmm.
Hold on, let me pull up the ratings. Let me see what ratings
Honestly?
there actually are.
Yeah, what are the ratings? I'd probably
Yeah.
do it between 3 and 10, probably around there potentially. I haven't played enough to say if there's anything like
Well, the thing is, you have to also think of it from their perspective. because it looks like gambling if you don't know anything about it, right? Like it looks like there are lots of people in this world who see something that looks like poker and they think that's bad, that's evil. I don't want my kids playing it. So like I would probably err somewhere from 10 to 15
Okay.
just because it looks like poker. And that sucks, but that's kind of the reality that we live in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I reject that reality, and
Yeah.
I don't like to. I actually don't like to give into that type of sentiment too much, even though I agree with you. Like to safe value, like or to save face, like you'd probably want to just rate it something that's in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it I do get tired of the panic that people have, and then just because of that, the panic, like Harry Potter, where I grew up, was a very controversial thing, which it shouldn't have been. It's a kids movie, and I'm sure some of them wanted it to be rated, rated R and stuff like that. So you can't placate to everyone. You gotta get somewhere in the middle, I guess. So I agree with you.
Yeah. So here are the official ratings that Peggy have, and of course ESRB. So actually, Bellatra was rated E10, so it's like the second lowest. So we have the ESRB, we have rated E for everyone, rated E10. We have teen, mature, and adults only, which I don't think we don't really see adult only games being released. If they're just going to be like that, then the ESRB just isn't going to rate it.
Yeah, if it's adults only, that's basically a soft ban in terms of physical retail for sure.
Absolutely. Whereas Peggy have ages 3+, 7+, 12+, 16+, and 18+. And here's what the ESRB says here. It's rated E10 for gambling themes, no interactive elements, of course. Let's see, this is a card simulation / deck building game in which players create winning hands to earn chips and defeat enemy blinds. Players earn chips points / chips for winning hands and matches and exceed a specific score, yada yada yada. The game has a poker theme, which includes the names of hands, scoring system, and types of playing cards, but does not include making wagers.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair thing, a fair rating from ESRB, just because E10 plus. I think you have to be kind of like 10 years old or older in order to even understand the mechanics.
Yeah.
And it's like it's gambling themed. I think that's a good way to put it, but it's not actually gambling.
It's themed, but you earn money. You don't bet money.
Yeah.
And so it's no different than like, let's say there's a bunch of other games that are deck builder where you earn money along the way to also build out your deck. Like, So I would definitely reject the, like, it has, I don't even know if I'd go as far as, I guess themed because it has chips, but the true concept of gambling, there's zero gambling in it.
Right.
And so that's a really hard one for me.
I mean, I think it's a fair assessment.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm thinking about this too much. Like a 10 is fine. What I'm really thinking about is like I'm gonna throw this in front of my 7-year-old and see what he does. If he becomes a gambling addict in a year, then we'll know. I'll experiment. So I'll get back to you guys. I'll get back to you guys.
Experimentation. I'm all for it. Let's go.
Local Thunk better watch out.
Yeah, right. He's got to pay for that college somehow. I'm gonna go the high tech route.
Nice.
Full disclosure, I don't endorse gambling. I probably should have said that earlier.
I don't. Here's my thing: if you're gonna go do it every once in a while for fun, and you don't have an addictive personality to that, go for it.
No.
I grew up 2 hours away from Vegas, and I just don't care. Like I know that the house wins.
Yes.
Every once in a while you can, but what I'd rather do is just throw my money at like some lotto tickets instead of gambling, because then you don't waste your time. But if you want to have that little bit of a thrill, maybe beating the lucky winner. But I do know that like on Twitch and on a lot of these streaming services, like it's a very, and I do want to like emphasize this, like the gambling streams and the gambling nature that has gone into games and into this and into Twitch and all that has become very dangerous.
Mhm.
And so I definitely don't condone it.
Yeah, it's interesting kind of how the video game industry has like come full circle, because video games used to be very close to like on the borderline with gambling in arcades, where you know they needed to do everything they could to extract as many quarters from you as quickly as possible. And then home consoles got rid of all that. You pay upfront for the game, and then boom, you have the game and you don't have to pay for it again. But now that we have the internet and online enabled consoles, you know, it started with the 360, I think. Um, Suddenly there's lots of little microtransactions, and it just became the arcade again. And now
Interesting.
now they're like, oh, now we can like throw in loot boxes to keep having you click the pay now button. It's just, I don't know, I find that fascinating.
I never thought about it that way. Kind of going back a little bit to the arcade system.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, there's always been this kind of uncomfortable marriage between like gaming and gaming, you know?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like it's dopamine hits and psychological. It is what it is. The biggest thing is to make sure to watch out for addictive behaviors and stuff like that, whether it be in gaming, whatever it be in your life. But yeah, with the whole loot box stuff, like I actually personally, I think it's kind of fun to get loot boxes and open them up, but to pay for them, very rarely do I do that. Because it's just you never get good enough drops.
Yeah.
So I definitely avoid loot boxes and stuff like that because I can definitely see that it could be very addicting, but it is fun. So I also understand why they add it.
It's
As a mechanic. What?
It's designed to be fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun. Like you're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to get. It's fun to get that, and I'll pay into it to a certain point. Like if these companies want to get me, you got to make it decent enough drops, and I'll pay for it every once. Especially if you make it a free game. Like I understand if it's a free game, and if you hide like cosmetics and some other stuff behind loot boxes, I'm okay. But also, we probably should have a better rating for that too. You know, I'm okay with it. Because I think it's fun, and I understand my limits on that type of stuff. But like with Hearthstone, if you ever played Hearthstone, this is a great example. Hearthstone should be rated probably 18. Because to get anywhere near a good deck, you have to spend like to compete with the top people, you have to spend thousands of dollars each time they do a drop on a new season of packs and stuff. And that happens every 6 months to a year. People will spend $6,000 to $10,000 a year on that thing. Wow. That is there's a reason why Hearthstone was $1 billion plus game a few years ago, and there's a reason I stopped playing is because I would spend probably every year probably $100 on it. Which whatever, it was a game that I was playing a ton, right? Like I don't care, 100, 150. Like if it's a game I'm going to play a lot. And I get you want to have some rarity because Magic the Gathering is also a great example, but those are physical cards that you can trade and I've made money off of getting Magic the Gathering cards, right? Yeah. Like that's a little different. With Hearthstone, it's all controlled by them, and they control the whole economy on that, and then you don't get to trade them. They've tried to combat it a little bit, but it is very. I think it soured a lot of people's taste in that, and I'm curious if we're going to see more loot boxes and more of the Hearthstone style, or we're going to get away from it more now that because I could definitely see us getting away, because it definitely doesn't feel as bad as it used to be. Like they definitely noticed that it was hurting some of their sales, but I'm curious if it would be, if you guys think it's going to be kind of lay low for a little bit and then it's going to pop back up sooner.
Oh yeah, I think there's no doubt that if any industry is going to like lay low for a minute and then get back right into it, it's going to be the gaming industry.
They know.
They control. Like you said, they control the randomness. They control all of that, and so, you know, There, who knows? I mean, this is the thing that really bothers me is like you go to a casino, right? And the state actually regulates, or most states, I don't know if all of them do, they control or they regulate the randomness of those machines.
Like the RNG kind of stuff.
Yeah, like if it's a digital machine, that it has to like be is it the weights and measures division in most states like have to
I think you're right, yeah.
And actually test the machines to make sure that they're conforming to
Yep.
fair play. But these games where they're not technically gambling, I mean, if you ask the industry, they're not gambling because you're not going to lose money. You're always going to get something.
You're always going to get something, but it's a digital aspect. It's a digital thing that you'll never be able to.
Yeah, but it's subject to no regulation, and that's the thing that really bothers me. It's like that's why I won't do it because it's inherently unfair. Even if you always win something, they control what you win and when you win it, so it's not random in my book.
No. So what if this were like? So what if there was no monetary? What if it was just like a game with no monetary aspects to the loot boxes?
I mean, that would be fine, but like still,
those are fun too.
The thing is, I think that if there's like even the appearance of that, like well, I mean, we kind of go back to Balatro then because like Balatro has randomness. Lots of roguelites have randomness in it, and you don't pay anything to win the cards. You just invest your time in the game and play it, and then you win the cards or whatever. But like
you can't regulate RNG. Like you cannot regulate the randomness to games and drops and stuff like that. It's just when money's involved is where I think it needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I was coming to that conclusion.
I'm sorry. You're right. Completely.
No, you're right. Absolutely. You beat me to it.
I stole your thunder. Yeah, no, I once again, like I said, I like if it's a free game, if it has and it doesn't lock anything too big away, like if you want to earn points by fighting other guys, like in League of Legends, they have a way to pay for it, or they have a way to earn it through points. I'm okay with that type of system. What I'm not okay with is if they hide, let's say, characters you can play through drops, which they used to do in some games. I don't like that. Skins, you don't need to pay. Like you don't need a skin. So if you're gonna hide it behind a loot box, I don't care too much. But definitely make it so that there's an age requirement to play those loot boxes. I definitely think is the consensus for me is that I don't think they need to get rid of them, but they need to be regulated, and they also need to be behind an age wall.
Yep, I agree.
Well said. Yes.
I mean, speaking of loot boxes, do any of the what's the name of the game?
Destiny 2?
No, I was trying to segue into the next topic, but the Katakawa, the games that they make, do they have any loot box mechanics? I've never played any of theirs.
Well, none of the FromSoft games have
none of the mechanics,
but I don't think any of the Spike Chunsoft software games do either. I gotta look actually.
I don't know.
You gotta come to find out they own a bunch of pachinko parlors or something.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of pachinko parlors, I found out that there was this crossover between Godzilla and Evangelion, and it's exclusively a pachinko machine with with cutscenes and shit too. And that shit looks so awesome, but it's limited to a pachinko machine. What?
Wow.
There's a Half-Life game. I don't think it's a pachinko game though, but there's a Half-Life game that I've yet to play that is in Japan, and it's a Japanese specific one, like arcade machine or something like that.
Yeah. Is it on rails? I feel like it's on rails.
I think it is on rails, but I all I know is I haven't played it, and I should have played it when I was in Japan last, but or tried to find it.
Yeah. Well, here's the segue now. Speaking of Japan, Sony has agreed to acquire Katakawa through a buyout of shareholders?
Yeah, they are now majority shareholder of Katakawa.
Yeah, which is interesting. What do you guys think about that?
10% though, but being the majority is crazy. That it only took owning 10% to become the majority, right? If I'm reading that right. So
yeah,
that means Who's the so they're the majority. That means that no one has well, they have I shouldn't say they're the majority. They're the largest shareholder. The majority would be if you have 50% or plus, or then you usually have the most say in things. At this point, they could have the most say in the sense of, but they can, but there's other people that are other shareholders that can also weigh in.
Mhm.
Once you hit 51%, though, then you just kind of control the company.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't
So-
control it.
Sony acquired about 54,100 shares for about 50 billion yen.
Wow. What is that in dollars? Is that like
I'm pulling it up. It's
50 billion.
319 million
Yeah.
dollars,
Oh, wow.
That's
roughly.
319 million.
wait. So for 10%, that's 319 million.
Well, that also includes the shares that they acquired in like 3 years ago, I think, like in February,
Hmm.
according to this article. So
Interesting.
the article
That's a
doesn't
lot.
it doesn't really mention any other plans other than quote unquote strengthening our collaboration to maximize both companies' IP values and all that corpo speak.
Interesting.
So Katakawa would be worth like what, $3-4 billion?
I mean, that makes
Oh,
sense
no.
to me.
No, I think they'd be worth a lot more.
It depends on their market cap, though. So, I mean, what they bought into at 10%, they could get it discounted if they buy the whole thing. So, interesting.
Let's see. So, in the future, the two companies plan to discuss specific initiatives for collaboration, such as initiatives to adopt Kadokawa's IP into live action films, TV dramas globally, co-produce anime works, expand global distribution of Kadokawa's anime works through the Sony Group, further expanding publishing of Kadokawa's games, and develop human resources to promote and expand virtual production. So essentially, they're saying that they want to adapt Kadokawa manga into like live action stuff and TV stuff. Like, okay, here's the thing: have you guys watched Ghost in the Shell, like the original anime
Yeah.
movie? Have you, Gardner?
No.
It's really good. It's cyberpunk. It's like one of the like seminal cyberpunk pieces. Like,
It is really good. Well, Ghost in the Shell alone is a good fictional series because it just gets your mind thinking on the whole thing. I love that series for that.
all right. So James, have you watched the live action version with Scarlett Johansson?
No, I don't watch live actions typically. The last one I watched and I
It's-
didn't finish it was oh damn, what was it? It was one of, I don't know. It was something. One Piece was good. That was a good like
Yeah, that
anime
was
to
that was good.
live action. It was really good. I did not think they would get pull that one off, but
Yeah, but generally speaking, live action adaptations of anime are kind of bad, especially if they like Americanize it like they did with Death Note.
Death Note doesn't make sense as a live action. But
Like-
neither does like Lion King going to Disney. Like I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they're making money off these things.
Like I thought the Japanese live action Death Notes were pretty decent, but the Netflix one where they're in America,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
I think in the Asian markets, there's a place for this, and the Asian markets can be really big compared to, because Asia is just drastically bigger than Western media and whatnot. But yeah, so I think like these adaptations will work fine in Asia, depending on who they kind of kowtow to. But I'm curious from software though. I'm curious if Sony wants to also make like a from software game, because I actually think in a weird way, Elden Ring could make a decent movie. I don't think it would make a good movie if it was from Sony though. And Sony's Spider.
No.
I'm wondering if they're also trying to look into some of the stuff for their film side of things, because Spider-Man's been flopping. Everything that's Spider-Man related that Sony does just does not do as well.
I mean, no one cares about the Spider-Man movies if there's no Spider-Man.
Right. I literally can't think of a single Sony production that is any good at all. Like the only one I can think of is Sony Pictures Television, and it's Breaking Bad, and that's the only thing I can think of.
Did
Interesting.
Sony did that?
Sony produced Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Dang, that's pretty good.
I mean,
Um,
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was probably
yeah.
Spider-Verse.
the Spider-Verse is really good. So,
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
but that's just like one studio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
for every Spider-Verse, there's 18 like non
Morbius's.
Morbius's. Oh my god.
But wasn't that one? I haven't seen it. I just heard that it's one of those meme ones where it's so bad it's good.
I mean,
I don't know.
yes,
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it because
I've seen it. You should watch it. It's genuinely
Yeah.
awful.
need to have a watch.
But it is
party.
kind of It is enjoyable on rewatches. Yes,
That'd be a fun. If we ever do a Patreon, that'd be a fun thing to watch.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Watch some bad movies.
man. All right, so Kadokawa. Here are some notable Kadokawa IP. They own the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. That's kind of a deep cut. They also own Sword Art Online. They also own Konosuba,
Oh, they own
And-
Konosuba.
Oshinoko, Lucky Star, and I think they've adapted some Fate material. We'll talk about Fate in a little bit. Maybe never. I don't know.
Fate's
But
all over the place.
they
Interesting.
yeah, it's crazy, man. But anyways, the point is that Kadokawa owns a lot of things that Sony could adapt. Now, I don't know if I want to watch a live action version of Oshinoko, to be honest. It sounds like it'd just be bad. But it's also because of Sony.
Yeah, I think my faith is just not in Sony. I just don't think they have the right studios, the right setup to do some of these things.
Is it ironic that like Sony's video games are better movies than their movies?
I mean, I think that's a fair assessment.
I mean, ebbs and flows kind of thing happens. Maybe nepotism happens with a lot of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think Sony used to have a lot bigger bangers, but yeah, like Naughty Dog alone
Mm-hmm.
is just like so much better.
Yeah, I
So much
mean,
better.
yeah, Sony used to make a lot of bangers, but like they've had some recent flops, like our good friend Concord, and another game we're going to talk about probably later on in the show too, that Sony, I guess, technically owns now. But they also in here it mentions further expand publishing of Kadokawa's games. What do you make of that line?
It just sounds like they're gonna bring it to more markets, potentially different platforms too. But which is interesting. Well, Kadokawa, so like a lot of their games are more anime based, right? Or am I?
I believe so. Yeah, I need to look at like notable Kadokawa games.
Yeah. That's the hard part. Is I know from software, I don't know Kadokawa itself. Like a lot of the games that they're a part of.
So they own Spike Chunsoft, which is probably the second most notable. They made Danganronpa, if you've heard of it.
Oh my gosh, do they own the High School DxD IP? That's
Do they own High School DxD?
oh my gosh.
All right,
That's
so
like
Gardner seems like he doesn't know what that is.
I don't
That's
know
a-
anything about
That would get an adult only. Let's just say that. It's an adult only
Oh,
IP.
yeah.
You said high school, and all I could think of was that game on PlayStation called Rival Schools, which was probably an anime or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, it's like anime styled.
yeah, and it was Tekken, but they were like schoolgirls. And my friend Caleb would always bring that over, and we'd play it, and it made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a very uncomfortable IP. Like it's similar to that.
Yeah, okay.
It's very like I don't get Asia and their high school stuff. Like it's a little it's really creepy. But
yeah.
yeah, I derailed it. What are we talking about again?
Oh yeah, we're trying to figure out what Kadokawa owns in terms of video games. So
Well, that's one of them is High School DxD Natural Doctrine. I guess I didn't ever. It came out PlayStation 3 and 4, something like that, and the Vita. That's weird in 2014.
Man, I don't know what else they do besides From Software.
Metal
Like,
Max, Xeno, God Wars, not
Oh.
God of Wars, but God
I
Wars.
think they own. Oh, they own Overlord. Oh shit! Yeah, the one where
Overlord.
the like isekai anime where
Yeah.
where he's basically like a Lich King or a Demon Lord or whatever. I haven't watched it.
He's a Lich King. Interesting.
And they also own the Elden Ring spin-off, the one that looks like it's apparently a roguelike. So it's not a battle royale.
Hmm.
Like
Oh.
I know we thought it was a battle royale because it had like the ring, but it's are they going to call that the like the zone that closes in? Are they going to call that the Elden Ring? That'd be so funny if they did.
This is actually what the
It's
Elden Ring
Older
meant.
Ring.
Oh gosh.
Is that Night Rain you're talking about?
Yeah, Night Rain, the one they showed off in the Game Awards.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where it did look like a battle royale because like it was like the closing arena.
It's actually a roguelike, apparently.
Weird.
I'm curious. I think the mechanics are going to be a blur of both, but we'll see. I'll be honest. I don't know if anyone's going to recognize half these titles. That's probably the point. They want to bring it to different markets. I know that the Western world does enjoy, especially Gen Z, I think the anime-esque style games, but it's so saturated right now. So it will be interesting to see if some of these games actually do make it over here or if they're just expand. I don't know. It's an interesting IP list.
Do you think this is like Sony trying to bring more unknown exclusives to like PlayStation 5?
I don't know, maybe.
They own Lollipop Chainsaw. I did not know that. That's crazy.
I've heard of that one.
That one's actually, I mean, they're doing a remaster or no, is it a new one? They're doing a new one of the Lollipop Chainsaw. While it's very sexualized, it is a fun game. That it's a bombastic game is what I like about it. I like bombastic games where it's like just beyond ridiculous. And it's zombies, so you're gonna get me with zombies every time. So they at least got me with that one. If they bring that out to more to more markets, but once again, I think they were already doing that. I don't know. I don't see Sony gaining anything like recent from this, but except for exclusivities to maybe help fight Microsoft. But
yeah, I'm curious if like this is going to come out like some new projects that they've got in the works. Sony wanted to like lock down exclusivity or something.
Also, kind of related. Apparently, Kadokawa also owns RPG Maker.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that either, but I just looked into it, and sure enough, it's there.
Wow.
Yep.
Man, I've seen RPG Maker around for a long time. I mean, I remember I was a little kid when I first saw RPG Maker.
Honestly, it's a good foray into game development. I think it's a good system for people if they want to start getting into that story building game development.
And there are a few like really great titles that have been made in RPG Maker. Freaking Undertale, like one of the best games of that year. Like,
yep.
I thought Undertale was a Game Maker.
What? Oh, is it? I thought it was RPG Maker. I'm gonna Google it.
Let's look it up.
There is some games that I believe you're right about RPG Maker, but I don't.
Yeah, Omori is RPG Maker. Yume Nikki is also RPG Maker too. Y'all ever play Yume Nikki before?
No.
No, you're fine, Gardner. So Yume Nikki is a crazy so it's built in RPG Maker, but it's decidedly not an RPG aside from just walking around. So it's like this weird. It's like a weird dream simulator. It's Japanese as all hell, but it's. I urge you guys to play. It's really good. It's also totally free too. So
I'll add it to my backlog. Even if it's free, I still have to add it to my backlog.
It's recommended that you don't get the Steam version though, because the Steam version is a little glitchier than the freeware version that you'll find on the internet somewhere. but I don't know. I don't know where it stands these days. It's a weird. It's an unusual one, but you know these sorts of weird games. They're an experience in and of itself.
Yeah.
I'm always down for experiences these days, especially with games. Sometimes they get a little too samey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we might have beat this Katakawa
Yeah.
horse to death on.
Well, let's wait till Sony beats them to death first.
Well, the thing is, all the ones I recognize that would be decent titles are probably, I think, they're already in the Western markets.
Mhm.
So, once again, I'm not their market researcher. I'd be curious to see if any other ones that they have would be actually decent. But once again, it could be that they have a lot of IPs that don't have games yet. Maybe they want to also get those into game format.
Yeah, like Love Live apparently said by them too.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
I've got a
I think
question.
this one, yeah.
I've got a question for you guys. When you hear the term final spec, when as applied to consoles, what comes to mind?
Soon to be released. Game
Like
console.
it's real life, truly real life graphics and real life physics.
Interesting.
So high tech. I think you're a little closer to this next story with your thoughts. Sean Layden, former PlayStation president, says that consoles have started to plateau and are approaching final specifications, and basically saying that the game industry needs to rethink what is going to be the compelling reason to continue selling PlayStations and Xboxes in the future. This is an interesting story, and I think the most interesting quote that came from this article, this was Sean Layden being interviewed by, was it Eurogamer? They said, Sean Layden said, "You're not going to see another PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 jump in. You're not going to see another PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 jump in performance. We've sort of maxed out there. If we're talking about teraflops and ray tracing, we're already off the sheet that most people will begin to understand." So basically, he's saying that there is never ever going to be another jump in performance like early generations of consoles had. NES to Super Nintendo, was it Genesis to Saturn, right? Those kind of things. You're just not going to see that anymore. And so the industry's really going to have to come up with a compelling reason to buy PlayStations in the future.
I think that worked back between the 80s and into the 2000s. I think that worked as a compelling point for systems to upgrade into, for people to be excited for. Mm-hmm. I think they're thinking about this semi-wrong. They're like, okay, graphical updates, that's what is important. Well, there was more than that. There was input updates. There was a lot of different things. And I don't know if people are ready for VR, but it's going to take potentially a few generations to really get people more and more into VR. But they really need to start putting a lot of money into researching better VR experiences that might even interface more with all the shows that neurological or neural links and stuff like that kind of play into. It's dangerous realm, but if you want a true final or the next step, then yeah. So I kind of agree, we're hitting that realism point, which we're never it's an exponential thing. Well, it's an exponent. Well, it's not even exponential. It's almost reverse. You can get it grows each time to get closer to that final spec, I guess, which is, for me, that's a weird term for it, but this true realism, and we're getting there. But for every generation, the fall off on gains is going to be low. So you can think about it as 90 to 95 to 96, and we're going to get there slower and slower. But to say that we're even close, I think is not right. And I think it coming from the former president is also telling the like, I don't know if he actually has any credentials to say that.
I think the mathematical term you're looking for is like the limit as it approaches X. So anyways,
yes, that's a good way to put it, actually.
Yeah, so
that's a really good way to put it.
So I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of have a hard time telling major differences between the PS4 and PS5. Like I can see them.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I can still see them. But I really have to like struggle to like pixel peep to see what's changed. Like legitimately speaking, like I looked at The Last of Us, like the PS4 version of it that released like early on, and then I looked at the remaster that released for PS5. I can barely tell a difference in the same scene. And part of it makes me wonder. There are some changes. You can tell which version is which, but part of me wonders if that's more of an artistic change they made, or if it's a graphical fidelity thing. I can't even tell anymore.
So with some of these more narrative driven, they can, like especially with Naughty Dog, they can do some types of tricks or types of ways to make it look much better without being too performant, and that's what they do. So for like on the rails kind of story based games like The Last of Us and all that, where you can't go too far off, we're hitting our limits on that. For open world games, for a lot of other games, we have not. And the reason I say this is like people complain about the Unreal Engine 5 maybe looking the same, but that's because people aren't utilizing it properly. But they have Nanite, and some other systems in there that when you look at those in demos, they are breathtaking. Because the problem is that in a very controlled environment, yeah, we're hitting that limit. We're pretty close to hitting that limit. In an open world game or games that are very dynamic, we are not. I don't think we're close to it yet, because to get that realism, and I think we'll see that soon with hopefully with some people that take some risks, because we could get some really cool detailed games that are open world Fallout-esque in the future. But I just don't there's so many limitations still to that. So, and the reason I say that is that, sorry, and I'll just last thing is like, let's say in Fallout, you have in the great distance there's a mountain, and you can see something that occurs, and you can see a little rubble fall down. That's really detailed and very far away. It's really hard to do in a game engine because you don't render that far typically. You don't want to. It's very, very compute heavy. You have hordes growing in the background somewhere else and if it's being done in a virtual world, there's ways to do it without showing it graphically, but there's still in the distance, the draw distance might not allow for that. So I'm not going to drone on anymore. It's just, we have a lot of like cool things that we could still improve upon. I just don't know if we're going to.
I think it's interesting that Sean Layden said this when he did, because I think this could have been said in the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era, honestly. Like,
yeah,
if you think about like actual like GPU architectures, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 had absolutely transformative architectures where instead of having fixed pipelines, they had pixel pipelines, and these are not shader pipelines. I'm sorry. Yeah. So shader pipelines can be used in any way, right? Like they can process vertices, they can process triangles, they can process pixels on the screen, and it's just about the developer allocating resources where it's needed for any given scene. And since that era of games, we have not had anything beyond just adding more shader pipelines, adding more shader compute units to graphics cards. And at this point, I mean, there's a reason that the 360 and the PlayStation 3 lasted for like 11 or 12 years, right? It's because they were so powerful that we didn't really need new consoles in order to achieve the same things that we were seeing on PC. And at this point, unless you want to squeeze, 1,000 watts through a GPU, you're not there's very little reason to upgrade to a new GPU because it's just gonna consume more power and you're not gonna get that much more out of it. So I don't know where I was going with that, but the basically, like, I think the 360 and the PlayStation 3 were kind of the peak in terms of like gaming specific hardware, and now we're moving towards a iterative and very small change in performance and gains in terms of gaming.
I think it's interesting. I think we're still in a world of like performance gains between 4 and 5 are actually pretty big, but the translation between what you see and those gains are very different.
Yeah.
And I think also PlayStation 5 does not lend well to optimize. Like, we don't see companies optimizing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I think that's why we don't also see that graphical change. Now, that being said, I have played some games on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and there's a huge difference. But then I've also seen not that big of a difference, right?
Yeah.
And it's a weird gap.
I wasn't trying to say that there's no difference between upgrading.
No, you're correct. Like, technically, our technical improvements in PS3 and Xbox were so great, and the way that we handle compute and all that, like, fundamentally changed at one point. And we, besides a few extra like ray tracing and some other stuff, we really haven't hit that as much. Even though I do think it's not the same thing. These are more game mechanics and more not game mechanics, more engine-based things like Nanite, where what Nanite does is that it's able to do variable draw distances, meaning it's really good for improving performance for things that are way out in the distance, and then when you get closer, drawing it so that it doesn't kill your VRAM.
It's called dynamic level of detail, right? Where it's like it can take a mesh of like 8 million triangles and reduce it down intelligently on the fly. Something and
it's still being worked on. So I definitely think we're in the world that software is where it's going to be the improvements for the next little while. Hardware is going to be hitting its kind of limits. And so hardware is going and hardware architectures are also what's changing and making things better. It's not the die size as much now because we're hitting the theoretical limit of what die shrinkage can be. We're also hitting the limit on some other aspects. What graphics card makers could do is increase VRAM, which they're very stingent on, and it's very honestly probably one of the biggest blunders I've seen in a long time from graphics makers.
Fucking Nvidia.
Yeah, I really fuck them in their with that VRAM stuff. I really do hate it. I really hate it that we have 3 generations of the same named card that has the same VRAM, which is ridiculous. That is one of the reasons why Unreal 5 games don't do as well, is because they're a little bit heavier in VRAM, and that makes sense. As we iterate and get into the future, things are going to be if you want it to be more graphically the fidelity of the graphics to be better, you're going to usually eat up more RAM because it takes more to store that. Now, there's a lot of techniques that we could do, and some that Naughty Dog do, where they can swap that stuff out, but it is not easy for certain games to do that. And I could go into theories, we could go into theories and all that other stuff on this, because I do think a lot of game developers don't get enough praise for trying to optimize their games. But also, it's really hard to optimize some of these games.
I understand, yeah.
And so bugs will be prevalent in very massive games. But
so I do have one question. Yeah. So the quote unquote final spec talk, I think we can all assume we're talking about home consoles that just stay at home. Do you think the same applies to handhelds like the Steam Deck or the upcoming Switch 2? Do you think those are subject to the final spec, or do you think maybe the final spec for those will just arrive a lot later?
I think later is probably that's where my head's at, because while like for a desktop or a console, you're not gonna be really limited by power consumption. On a handheld, you will be, and so as technology is able to improve, as they're able to kind of reduce the size of the die and whatever else, I think handhelds will eventually catch up to the final spec per se. I think it might be wrong to think of it as like the final spec though. And
I hate the concept final spec. I
Yeah.
think it's wrong, and I think that anyone that subscribes to this is going to be very wrong in the next 10, 20 years. That's just not how innovation and how things work. If anything that kills and makes a final spec, it's going to be AAA game developer or publishers killing the industry.
Yeah.
And hardware developers killing the industry because they don't want to innovate. That's, I think, that could create the final spec.
Well, the gaming industry has also kind of put itself in this corner. Like they've painted themselves into this corner where it's like the only marketing tool that they have ever used in the games industry is, or at least in terms of hardware, is Sega does what Nintendo don't. 16-bit is lower than 32-bit. Do the math. Like that's the only thing that they've leaned on for 40, 50 years, right? And so it's that now at this point the industry has to pivot because they can't just say, oh, it's 45 teraflops or whatever, and which is more than 30 teraflops, because it doesn't show up on screen. Like you don't get that massive generational leap that they have been able to prop up the entire industry on for so long.
I just don't know if that's I think we need to be careful with that because I don't know if it will be. That's why I kind of like PC gaming more and all this other stuff. I don't necessarily like when I'm ready to upgrade, I'm ready to upgrade. I don't want to be determined by, PS5, PS6. I don't like, maybe for consoles, it might be the final spec or whatever, but like incremental, I want incremental changes to keep on happening because that's how I think we're going to get there.
But in the PC space, you both just said it. Like Nvidia has been holding it back. Why are they holding it back? Is it because they are just being super stingy, even though they're charging like $800 for the high-end graphics cards or whatever? I don't know the actual number. Or is it because there's like technical limitations to adding even more?
There's no technical limitations to adding more VRAM because their top cards have more VRAM.
Right. Okay.
So technically, no, they're being stingy. It's a market play. They know that they probably don't have amazing upgrades for the next 6, 7, maybe 8,000 series, and so they're probably going to do it then. So it's definitely a market play. And if AMD was playing their cards better, like they would be really jumping on board on that. And they do usually have more VRAM, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think AMD is also kind of complicit in just letting Nvidia jack up the prices because they benefit too. They're the only other player.
They're the only.
If Nvidia jacks up the price, then why the hell would AMD not too either? And I mean, Intel just came out with a graphics card that's like $200, and apparently it's really good.
Yeah,
I've heard really good things on that, on the Intel stuff, but I really have a hard time trusting their drivers.
Yeah.
I've heard their drivers have gotten better. That's what Gamers Nexus said, but I mean, I guess only time will tell when newer games release.
Intel's just never done a great job with drivers, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
I'd
like to try their new card though. Honestly.
I do want to try their new card. I need to. So I think. So I think what we're going to see is like handhelds be iterative and continue to improve over the years. But I don't think like this final spec is going to be a thing until every game can be played on a handheld or on a device that someone owns. Meaning, if I own the Steam Deck 3, let's say if they come out with a Steam Deck 3, every game should be able to play on that in a decent way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where some of our limitations are right now, is that we are still creating games that are GPU and processor hungry in a lot of different ways, and rightfully so. I think some people might say otherwise, that like they're not optimized, but some games are still pushing the limits on what these devices can do. And until we have a device in our hands, at least from handheld gaming standpoint, that can play every game fine, I don't think we're going to be hitting any type of final spec.
Mm. Yeah, I think I honestly would like to see consoles reach like final spec state. I don't like that term either. But like if we hit that plateau and there's a PlayStation 6 and that's the last one for 10, 15 years, I honestly like that because at the end of the PlayStation 3 era, they were really maxing out that hardware. And at the end of like the NES's lifespan, they were maxing out that hardware. They were doing interesting things that wouldn't have even seemed possible in the early life of the console. So I mean, limitation breeds creativity, and when there's too much like if anything is possible, then only the bottom of the barrel is going to be scraped in terms of like innovative gameplay.
Interesting.
And honestly, when it comes to like gameplay, like that's the thing that I'm always the most interested in. I don't care about graphics. I don't care about X, Y, and Z. All I want is a fun game, and I like innovation and new experiences. And like I said earlier, where it's like VR, dude. Like we've talked about Half-Life Alyx and how like crazy amazing that experience
It's
was.
so innovative.
And that's where like my head is at. I want more of those type of games, but the industry hasn't produced any, like we have. I mean, the only two VR games I played at all this year was Beat Saber and Half-Life Alyx. And I've played I've beat Half-Life Alyx like 3 times now. So I don't know. I want stuff like that. I want new controllers, right? That do different things that are interesting. The PlayStation 5 controller has like the analog sticks or the analog triggers that'll fight you. That's kind of neat, but also it feels kind of broken if it's not done right. But like that's the only interesting thing that's been done in controllers for a while. I don't know.
I have some interesting controllers. I'm not sure if you've ever seen them, but I made some videos on controllers a while back. So I have a DJ controller that's used for like Beatmania and DJ Max and all that stuff. It's gigantic. It's pretty cool. There's also turntables. You can use it for Spin Rhythm XD? You can use it for that too, and it's pretty fun. I think it's called the DJ DAO Easy Max Plus or something like that. It's kind of expensive, and it's a very niche product.
Are you a DJ person now? High tech or? Dude,
I wish.
You should make a video of you just trying to do a DJ mix with it. That'd be awesome.
Dude, that'd be so funny. But
I think that'd be awesome.
I mean, here's a tangentially related question. When did we start seeing 1080p panels for anything?
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, I think handhelds would even benefit from higher than 1080 personally. But it's once again iterative.
Because I'm reading the Steam hardware survey for November, and there's a couple of things that stick out to me. First and foremost, the 3060 is still the most popular card. And 8 gigs of VRAM is still the most popular amount of VRAM.
Yep.
And you know what the most popular resolution is?
1080p.
Yep. 55% of people use 1080p displays.
Well, the big part of that is people just don't want to upgrade their 1080. And then also when it comes to competitive play, like having higher refresh is much better than having fidelity. Right.
Yeah. I've heard of CS:GO players, they drop the resolution all the way down to the lowest and then they slay out that way.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, same.
I just couldn't do that. Graphics are a part of the innovative process for me, but it has to be done right. Like there's obviously some games where the graphics are just like, oh, this is amazing, but the game is so boring and they don't go in an innovative route with the graphics. I think Half-Life's a good indicator. Like they had some pretty good graphics when it came out, but it was fun to explore. It was little weird things that would pop up, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
to kind of get into that graphical thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
guess what my resolution is, by the way?
1080.
No,
1080. Is it 4K?
11,520 by 2160.
Are you on
a multi-monitor setup?
I have three 4K monitors. Yeah.
You have 3 4K monitors.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Damn. And you run those as a single monitor?
Well, I mean, it's like one desktop on each.
Okay.
No, he just has a regular multi-monitor.
I know, but
setup.
usually if you put dimensions in like that, usually you're running it as one that's extended throughout the 3. You can do that, but it comes
Yeah,
with
you
its
made
own
it sound like you were
limitations.
doing that.
Yeah.
I want to get one of those super ultra
That's
wide,
awesome.
monitors. Like you've seen like the Samsung Odysseys that are like 3 regular monitors, but just has one screen. I want to get one of those.
I've had an ultra wide, and they're fun. They suck to stream on, and they suck to do other things because the compatibility is kind of annoying.
I thought about getting 2 ultra wides instead of this setup, but then I was thinking like window managers are just not set up to like split windows, across a single monitor, and it's like
They don't do it very well. Yeah.
I just wanted it to be simple. So
Not even on Linux.
no, I mean there are a few like if you get like a tiling window manager, but I hate tiling window managers. I can't stand them.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind them if they're. It just I have to get used to stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I do have an ultra wide.
I don't want to learn all the key combos. So.
I think this monitor's starting to go bad though. My ultra wide right here, I see like lines going down the screen on the very end. Thankfully, on the very like right end, it's definitely. I think it's starting to go out.
Don't move it much because that will continue to exacerbate it. That's how mine. I hit a corner moving mine and it broke it.
That's how my brother broke his too.
Yeah.
His monitor.
That's another big part. Those break a lot easier, I feel like, than regular monitors. Just as a heads up to all the listeners.
Yeah, yeah. He was trying to install a monitor onto his monitor arm that he got, but he dropped it, and he had to get a new monitor.
I run only one monitor right now with my laptop having a second monitor, and then I have my iPad be a third. I used to run like 3, but I got so things got lost so often that I've reduced it down, but I usually go back and forth.
Yeah. So like holiday season. What are you guys doing this holiday?
Shopping for more monitors.
We're gonna go up to my girlfriend's families, and we're gonna spend a couple days with them, and that'll be really nice.
Ooh. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of relatives visit, and it's gonna be a chaotic moment because all of my siblings, all of my older brothers and my sister, they all have kids. It's gonna be crazy. And fun fact, I was actually sent a product. I haven't reviewed it yet. Honestly, I haven't even opened it yet because I need like at least 2 people to like help me set it up. Because you guys have been to like an office or like a school, right? And they have those smart boards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was sent one of those for review.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about installing Bassett on it.
No, you should. That's awesome.
That'd be awesome,
dude. Yeah, maybe that'll be like a 2-parter because maybe later. But yeah, I'm gonna review the actual thing, the actual like functions of it, and then we're just gonna like muck around and play video games on it.
Are you gonna get any games from the holiday sale and play it on it?
I haven't decided. I got some games for the last sale. Not too many though, because I knew this sale was coming up. I just got to see what's for sale. Like, y'all have any good recommendations? Anything that's deep enough discounted?
My game, Doodling's Arcade Sports Ball, is 40% off right now.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, link in the description down below.
Oh, thank you.
And if you get it also on Steam, right? It's you'll have all the newest updates.
And it's DRM free too, right, Gardner?
That's right.
Yep. You can get it on Steam, and then there's also it's on Humble and it's on Itch. So if you want to get like the Android version, you can get it on Itch.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If I had to recommend a game though, how do y'all feel about Metroidvanias?
I love Metroidvania.
They're fun, but I haven't been excited about one in a while.
So there's one I really like called Rusted Moss. It's a Metroidvania that's like focused around using a grappling hook to get around, and also guns as well. There's not like, and the like grappling is quite in depth, and it's like there isn't a standard double jump in the game too. But like once you master the grappling mechanics, it's insane. It's also 50% off, I believe.
No.
There are a couple of really deep discounted games that you gotta have on your you've gotta own too, and I'll look for those. But Binding of Isaac's $4.95 for if you like that type of indie games, like great. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. There's a couple of very specific deep discounted games that are like perfect for your Steam Deck. What are they? I apologize.
Animal Well is 20% off.
Yeah.
Of Metroidvania. That was my second most played game of the year.
I bought it and I'm excited to play it over the break.
Dude.
So, all right. So here's a fun little activity I want. Let's do. We can do this. We can browse istthereanydeal.com. Is it okay if I share my screen with y'all?
Go for it. Metaphor is one that I might. That's what I'm trying to. That's what it was. I'm trying to finish Persona 5 so I can play Metaphor, and I might pick.
All right, so y'all can see this, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's set some criteria. How about some new historic lows? Does that sound like fun to y'all?
Let's do it.
And then do you want to like minimum percentage, like I don't know, up to 50, 75, 90% off?
Let's do it.
I don't care.
No,
All right, let's do 90% off. We're gonna look for some super cheap
Damn.
games.
My only problem with 90, I feel like it's almost they're the bargain bin.
True. Let's do
Games.
75% off.
Even though I do think Back for
Hogwarts.
Blood is worth that money if you like play, if you get a bunch of copies and play with friends. But
Yeah, so Hogwarts Legacy is 79% off.
for
I haven't
$12,
played it.
that's
I
an
haven't played it
amazing
yet.
deal.
Let's see. There's Grim Dawn, The Forest.
Amazing
Divinity
deal
Original
also.
Sin. Let's see what else there is. Back for Blood, and I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I don't know if I want to endorse that.
Why?
It's okay, I guess. It's okay.
You
My
don't have to
opinion, I
endorse it.
think-
I endorse it. It just depends on if you like Left 4 Dead and you enough. Back 4 Blood's good. It's just not as good as Left 4 Dead, but it's you can think of it as like a continuation in some ways of the game. So if you like want more, it's a great game.
Oh, this game is 79 cents. Toho Artificial Dream and Academia. What the hell is this? Oh, it's a dungeon crawler,
this is
dude.
a
I love
dungeon
these
crawler,
things.
yeah.
All right, I might have to pick that up. It's only less than $1. Let's see what we have. We have Cryptarch, Struggling, Tales from the Borderlands. I don't think I've ever played any Telltale games, to be honest.
I think it would be a good
I've
one
watched
for your Steam
people.
Deck.
I've watched some of my friends in real life play them, but I haven't played them personally. Let's see. Axiom Verge is pretty good. It's $3.
Axiom Verge, I highly actually. You see this little figure right here? That's from Axiom Verge, right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I can it's kind of zoomed out for me, but I can see I see it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll show up a lot better when we edit the video. Let's see what else we got. We've got.
I will say, on Steam itself, you can get the Borderlands pack for like $25, which has every Borderlands ever released. Or you can just get Borderlands like 1, 2, and 3 each, are like $5.99. Those are really fun games and they run on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some other notable games, but it seems like we've already. Oh, we got the EA Star Wars triple bundle. What does this have? We've got Fallen Order, Squadrons, and damn, I thought I was gonna have Jedi, the second Jedi game.
No.
So
God
I'm looking
damn
at
it.
my Steam wish list, and there are a few interesting titles here. Dangeresque, the Rumisode Triangulate is 50% off right now. It's $3.99. If you're a Homestar Runner fan, I'm gonna pick this one up because
Wait,
what?
how does that relate to Homestar Runner?
Homestar Runner.
It's in the universe, right?
Huh?
Is
It's
it?
in the universe, right?
Yeah. So
Oh.
Dangerous is Strong Bad's like uh yeah detective
Oh, right.
Oh my god.
dude.
You're kidding me.
Dude, and this is pretty new too. Like this came out just a couple like 2023, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it says
So
right here.
so
Oh my god. I haven't watched Homestar Runner in like years.
dude,
I haven't either,
Homestar
but
Runner's like my favorite thing in the whole wide world.
you do that really well.
Thank you. I also can do Strong Bad sometimes, but Strong Bad
That's cool.
Homestar. Stop talking about yourself.
That's damn.
That
I think you're actually the voice actor for it now. I'm convinced.
God damn it, man. You should be doing like Homestar Runner parodies. I'm sure that'd be so awesome.
I literally walk around the house harassing my girlfriend in Strong Bad and Homestar Runner voices all the time.
Do you flip the switch up and down, doing the whole cheat like
Dude, I literally like the other day I was
rave
like,
thing?
Emily walked out of the kitchen while I was cooking dinner and she like just didn't think about it and shut the light off. And I made that joke. I was like, Emily, we didn't have this light switch installed so you could throw light switch raves. She died laughing, dude.
I can kind of do a Scooby Doo impression.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see what else we have on sale. We have South Park, The Stick of Truth. Oh, we have Okami, just in time for the Okami
that's
sequel that was
right.
announced.
That's one I need to add to my list.
And the Master Chief Collection. It's not a new historical low, but it is a historical low nonetheless.
Nice.
$9.99. Honestly, I would pick it up. Halo, I mean, it has like what we have: Halo 1, 2, 3, Halo Reach, and yes, Halo ODST, and yes, Halo 4 as well. I know Halo 4 is kind of mixed.
Yeah, it's fun. If you like Halo, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean the campaign's worth playing at least once.
Do you guys like Wario Land games? Because Pizza Tower is 33% off right now.
Pizza Towers, yeah.
I've been meaning to play that. I know.
I haven't played Pizza Tower, but the soundtrack is banger, and I really want to give it a try. So I think I might pick it up this.
I haven't played it yet either, but I've heard only good things about it.
Yeah, Rich has talked a lot about Pizza Tower, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, so even on the lower end of things, we have some historical lows for Cyberpunk, Metaphor, ReFantazio, Armored Core 6, a new historical low for Armored Core 6, which, by the way, y'all should play it.
It's really good, yeah.
RoboCop. I've heard good things about the RoboCop game, but I haven't played it.
RoboCop is really just like a solid adaptation of a movie. So it's good.
Yeah. I really like Pal World. It kind of sucks when Nintendo did the Pal World, and I guess the lawsuit's still going on.
They're gonna settle. It's gonna settle, and there's gonna be like I don't think anything big is gonna change from that.
Ooh, Final Fantasy Rebirth already has historical low despite not being out yet. 30% off on what website?
I was gonna say it's probably like Green Man Gaming or
Green Man Gaming and Humble does have 30% off, but no, it's also on Steam and Epic.
What? That's bizarre.
Yeah, if you're gonna buy it, now's probably the best time to pre-order it. To be honest, unless the deal persists past the pre-order period. I don't know.
I'm gonna wait until they're all out. I think is what my consensus is.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that like the other day.
Yeah, I can't. I won't beat all three of them because there's three, right? And so I won't beat all of them unless they're all out. It's the DLC conundrum. I'll buy a game when it first comes out, and I just won't play the DLC because once I'm finished with it, I'm just done.
Yeah, Slave Zero X historical low. I don't know if y'all have played this, but it's pretty fucking good. Have y'all heard of it, Slave Zero X?
I've heard of it. I haven't played it yet though.
So it's like a almost like 2D side-scrolling action like almost fighting game-esque in a way.
Those games are really fun, but I don't know. I have genres that I like. I tend to follow, and that's not one of my genres. Even though they are fun, I really do like them.
Let's see. Omori, is historical low. Nice. Signalis, pretty good too. Noita. Have y'all played Noita?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's have you heard of it at least?
No.
So it's a roguelike where you're descending downwards. Think of it as like the Falling Sand game, but like as an actual game.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's a lot to it too, I should say. And I mean, there's a lot of games. I'm not going to spend all day going over these because it'll take forever. But if you want to, you can always go on Is There Any Deal? It's the website I usually recommend for things like this. I don't know what the others recommend usually, but yeah.
Is it deals.gg? It's one I look at a lot. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the Doom games are usually on sale. I don't know if this time, but like they're really good on the Steam Deck. Honestly, there's during all the my problem with the sales is that they're always feel the same. I do feel like this winter sale is usually one of the best ones typically, but I have a hard time because it's almost guaranteed to be pretty predictive of what's going to be on sale and what's. If it was released this year, expect it to be between 10 to 25% discounted if you're lucky, 25.
Unless it's a Suicide Squad game.
That's an outlier. So we're going to discuss that one. That's an outlier. And if it's like a game that's released and been shut down already, it might be free if you can find it on the more shadier parts of the web. That's usually like if it's a 2-3 year old game, then you're going to start getting into the 30-40. That's just usually a rule of thumb now. Like it's really hard to cover these types of topics anymore on videos for me because it's pretty predictive at this point. Definitely though, there's some big sells for certain games that are really good this year though that we've already covered.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say it's fair to say that the sales on Steam have started to decline? I'm trying to segue to the next topic.
Decline. Yeah. I mean, they've just stagnated for years. The fun part of the fun part about it is that the art and some of in the past they've had a lot of fun events to go along with it. That's also made it fun for buying stuff. You get points. I don't know if they're going to do that again in the future, but those types of things are really fun. Yeah. Little loot boxy in some ways, I guess, but it's more collective. And so if you're going to buy games anyways, you get some cool collectors with it. But yeah, we definitely have seen, because you've mentioned a lot of different, a couple of different games, and you guys mentioned Suicide Squad game, like some stagnation going on in the industry.
Yeah. Destiny 2 was at one point a shining example of live services, and now it's apparently collapsing. High Tech, you want to fill us in on this?
So Destiny 2 has reached an all-time low on Steam of about 12,000 players, which is a far cry from you'd see Destiny hit like 800,000 players at once on Steam whenever like a new expansion or whatever comes out. And yeah, there's ebbs and flows, but this is about as low as it's ever been. It's even worse than when Curse of Osiris released. And I've played a lot of Destiny 2. It's still my most played Steam game, despite me not having played it for like months now. It's been like half a year, actually. So I think a lot of what has happened to Destiny 2 is that people are just kind of getting tired of it. And like, there's also one other thing too. Like, you guys know about have you guys watched the MCU?
Like
the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I've watched 80% of it. I haven't watched the newer stuff as much.
So here's my question. How much of it have you watched since Thanos was defeated in Endgame?
30%. 40%.
Because because that's basically what happened in Destiny 2. Because in the final shape, you face off against what is essentially the final boss of the entire 10-year saga, so they say. The Witness, who is the perpetrator behind the collapse of mankind during the Destiny universe, stuff like that. So you beat him, and now what? Like, they need another Thanos level character, and they're not going to give us that for a while. There's a good chance that we might never get one ever again, given that the final shape was kind of that.
That's when you keep on. Is World of Warcraft also went through this a little bit? When you keep on having the final bad boss, keep on doing this, it gets very fatiguing and psychologically, like you're just going to be like, for me, once I have like a final moment with a game, then or with a series or whatever, I'm kind of done with it for a long time unless you spin off. Like with Witcher 4, I think Witcher 3 is a good example. Like Witcher 3 had a good final moment kind of with Geralt, and then you kind of just spin off and move on to maybe Ciri or something like that. Like it's similar. Like you can, with the Destiny universe, they have to spin off or do something or just make a new game because they've been milking it for too long. And I think gamers are getting fatigued with all these series starting to do that, in my opinion.
So they are making a spin-off of Destiny called Destiny Rising. It's a free-to-play mobile spin-off. It's being made by, I believe, NetEase is doing it. NetEase also makes Marvel Rivals, I think.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, mobile. I don't consider that I don't know. I guess that's a spin-off.
What's wrong, James? You guys don't have phones?
Man,
well, not for Diablo. No, I don't.
But like, there's a good chance that it'll release on PC too, because I mean that's what they did with Diablo Immortal. But
yeah,
I don't know.
That's fine and all, and I'm fine with them doing spin-offs like that. But it's the type of spin-off that is to build up their following and to get a different market. It's not going to solve their current market problems. Like, most of the Destiny players are probably not going to play mobile. They are currently they've chosen their platform to be Steam or one of the consoles. That's the platform that are going to stick with most likely. That just tends to be how people work.
Yeah,
I'm glad you didn't say Epic as a platform.
I like Epic. Like Epic is a good
platform. It's not a platform.
That's true. Steam's not really a platform either, then, but yes, it is.
Well, absolutely it is.
All right, but anyways, I mean, we've seen the fall of brand new live service games. Like we've seen Redfall. You guys remember Redfall? That came out earlier this year too.
It did not come out this year, did it? It came out the year before.
No, wait, did it come out? Wait, what? Let me see. I gotta hold on.
I like Redfall actually. Unless and it's discounted too.
No, you're right. Enough. It came out last year. It's all right. All right, fine.
And it's one of the ones that I was really excited for, and then it was getting closer and closer, and I was not as excited for. But it was fun, and if it had more time to bake and reinvent itself and stuff, it would have been a really good game. But
so there is an offline. So Redfall did get a patch that makes it offline now. And Suicide Squad is getting much the same. So it's not going to permanently die like, I don't know, Concord. I know it'd be kind of impossible to make an offline patch for Concord since it's explicitly a PvP game, but still.
No, they could make it so that you could host your own games and stuff like that. And that's how they should do it. But either do that or do refunds. Those are the two routes they should go.
Well, I mean, they did give refunds, so there's that. But yeah, we're starting to see even like I would have considered Destiny 2 to be one of the like old guards of like live service games, because I mean Destiny 2 has always been successful. I know Destiny 1 kind of had a rough launch, but then it ended up being successful. I would have considered it one of the old guards, like I don't know, games like Warframe. But now we're starting to see even games like Destiny are starting to like decline quite a bit.
It's the natural way this goes. If they're shocked, if they're analysts, if that company's shocked by this, then they're gonna fail already, because people get tired of things. You cannot live service does not mean that it's gonna you're gonna be having a cash cow for the rest of eternity. That's not how that works. And I think companies are starting to realize that. People
Unless
have
your League of Legends.
But they do. That's a hard one because they do like come out with new things in the IP, like with shows and other stuff. And I think the show alone helped bring people back. So there's lulls. They'll go through like little lulls, but it is not like a continuation. They don't have a story. What it is it's like Counter-Strike or all these. They're competitive games that people come back to, where Destiny is. It has the competitive side to it, but it's also a story-based game. World of Warcraft's also a story-based game where you have a lot of competitive elements to it. You can go and do a lot of PvP, but then there's also a lot of PvE content in it that drives what a lot of people are kind of there for. And so that's the difference. Is a PvP live service is going to live for a lot longer than a PvE or a PvE PvP light type of game like Destiny. That's in my opinion.
It makes sense. I mean, like, the competitive spirit is quite strong in gamers, and you even see like fighting games that they're old. They don't get any modern patches or balance patches or anything or new characters, but they still get played a lot. Like Third Strike, that still gets played. I think it was at Evo this year, if I'm not mistaken. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is like a seminal game. It's I mean, I'm not that great at it. I've played quite a bit of it, but these days I haven't really played that many fighting games. Kind of sad, I know, but yeah, whatever. But yeah,
I mean, Melee is another. I mean, it's not online, but there is an online patch that people have made for it, and
yeah,
it still gets played. I think like the PvP stuff is gonna be have way more longevity than the PvE and the story-driven stuff.
Yeah, like I mean, like Marvel 2 just recently got re-released with like a bunch of other Marvel games in the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. And I mean, a lot of those games didn't have multiplayer, like online multiplayer to begin with. And like they didn't even have definitive ports because back in the day, arcade ports were just the arcade versions were just straight up superior compared to like the PlayStation 1 versions. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 on the PlayStation 1, like like what would you say is the defining like mechanic of the Marvel games is the tag team aspect. But on the PlayStation 1 for Marvel vs. Capcom 1, you didn't even have the ability to tag team at all. And like it's not even the same game really. Yeah, I had that version. I really liked it, but like once I found out that it was actually supposed to be a tag team game, I kind of felt scammed.
Yeah, I mean, to just kind of like reiterate the whole live action or the live service games is that you got to like PvP. You got to either be tweaking the system continually if you're doing a live action version, not like our live service. That is not just like a release it and then kind of just be done with it. You got to be tweaking the system and maybe adding some new content or some new ways to market it. PvE, you have to continually add to the story, but with PvE, it has a lifespan. You can only add so much to the story before it becomes really hard. Like for me, for Destiny 2, it's hard for me to get into the game and have to play through the whole thing because I want to play through the whole story before I get to the newer stuff. And that's one of the reasons I kind of fell by the wayside on that game with my friends is that they got much further than me and I just couldn't go back. I couldn't keep up. And so sometimes you need to reboot with like a new series. And so that's honestly, if they really wanted to, like, if Bungie really wanted to do the best thing, it'd probably be creating a new IP at this point.
They're working on Marathon, as far as I understand.
Yeah. And also your point with playing the whole game. You can't even play the whole game of Destiny 2 anymore. They removed content a while back, too. That's the crazy part. The base game that you paid $60 for, like back in 2017 or whatever, none of that exists anymore. Aside from like the core gameplay itself, which is absolutely crazy to me. I mean, I get it. The game would have been like 200 or so gigabytes or whatever, but make it like an optional download or something.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's the thing. Like, I kind of missed the boat on that one, and they're going to need to, like, if they come out with a new one, maybe I'll jump in much quicker and try to keep up with it. But Destiny, I feel like I've already lost. Same thing with World of Warcraft. I kept up with it for a very long time, and it hit a point where I just felt like World of Warcraft's done some good things to try to keep up with it, but it's just too much now.
So all I'm gonna say is that if Destiny 2 does end up dying, they should at least make an offline version to like with everything in it.
Yeah.
And then kind of just leave it, if it's buggy, whatever, you don't have to keep working on it anymore, but just make it available.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think it'd be a great disservice if they didn't continue patch it so that you could play locally with your friends.
Yeah.
And I think they should have a plan for that too. Like they should be planning that that's going to happen.
Yeah. Speaking of having a plan, Vanillaware has a plan to not do PC ports.
God, fucking Vanillaware, man.
What is it all about?
Okay, so Vanillaware is like one of my favorite developers. Definitely like probably top 1 from Japan, even above From Software. I know it's gonna sound sacrilegious, but hear me out. So Vanillaware has great arts. Like you've seen the games in motion, right? Like they look amazing. And that's their art team like going to overdrive. And their games also play quite well too. And Unicorn Overlord was even nominated for like best strategy game at the Game Awards. And that's no easy feat. But here's one thing though. It's available on everything else but PC. That's right. It's also available. It's on Xbox of all things.
Wow.
I don't know. I just wanted to rant about it because so apparently Atlas offered to give them support for PC, but they refused it, or they just I don't know what happened in the boardroom or whatever, but they just didn't. And like it's crazy because Atlas used to be like Vanillaware. They used to not put their games on PC because of things like I don't know, piracy or whatever. I don't actually know the exact reason. It might just be a Japanese culture thing. But if Atlas of all people is telling you to put your games on PC, then you know something's up, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it's not on PC. And there was another interview conducted very recently about Unicorn Overlord, and there's no plans for a PC port either, unfortunately. You can emulate those. You can emulate Unicorn Overlord very easily, but I would like to be able to like support Vanillaware on my platform of choice. And there's always stories about them running out of money too. Apparently, they literally ran out of money making Unicorn Overlord, and they do this every single game.
Yeah, they should be. They should find like an angel investor or someone like that, and really diversify platforms that they're on. They really should be doing PC ports if they really. I don't know why are they not seeking additional platforms? Do they have some agreements, or it's a weird mindset?
I mean, they're on Xbox of all things now. Like Unicorn Overlord, you can buy that on Xbox. And that's like the last platform I'd put I'd put anything on these days, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I go that far, but it definitely seems like it would lend better to PlayStation. Like the newer.
I mean, it is on PlayStation
5. Like you can play it on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's on everything but PC.
It's on everything but PC. Okay.
Yeah, but I thought everything was an Xbox. Like this is an Xbox, and
yeah.
This is an Xbox, and whatever. So PC.
Okay. Okay. I see where you're going with this. Ah, man.
Marketing was successful. You still talk about it.
God damn it, Gardner.
I still ridicule it.
You ridicule it, but you're talking about it. That is successful marketing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I just want Vanillaware to release all their games on PC. I highly recommend y'all play them, and also. I'm not gonna say this, but they also make the best video. They also render out the best looking video game food ever. Like, have you seen it?
I have not, but I don't need to be tempted with more food.
Come on, I'll show you. I'll show you guys right now.
Let's see it. While he's looking for that, CES is $350. So,
CES. Wow,
we'll see. I don't want to spend $350.
No.
How far is it though from you? Like, how many hours would it take for you to get there?
6 hours. It's not that far for me to drive, but I'd want to get a hotel room and plus everything else. I'm just like, maybe.
Are there
So here's Dragon's Crown. This is the banquet or whatever. I forget what it is.
Ooh.
This is from Unicorn Overlord.
I do like that art style. That's fun.
Let's see. I'm trying to find one from Muramasa because. Oops.
Oofoed.
There we go. Good stuff. We have it's insane.
It makes me just want to make the food, and that's what I end up doing.
Like there's a lot of games that are starting to look like Vanillaware games, but the food doesn't look anything like Vanillaware food. That's just me though.
Looks like a feast.
Definitely
looks like a celebratory feast.
Yeah, like George Kamitani. If you're, I don't know, I really doubt he's watching this video, but I'm not sure if he even understands me, to be honest. But PC ports, please.
Yeah. Speaking of feasts of celebration, Cave Story is celebrating its 20th anniversary, and that makes me feel old.
Shit, man. Cave Story.
Cave Story.
I haven't played that.
Cave Story was one of the first indie games that really caught my attention.
I think this was before the term indie game existed. I think it would have been considered a Dojin software back in the day. Whatever though. But Cave Story, one of the most influential games of the in the entire indie scene.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they didn't do anything else afterwards, though. I mean, the developer, Pixel, made other games, but there was never a Cave Story 2.
I have a confession. I've never played Cave Story.
Really?
Ever played it. I didn't even know it was really a thing. I don't know why.
Wow.
I mean, it was a lot bigger, like even 10 years ago when they started releasing them on releasing Cave Story on like consoles and stuff.
I first played Cave Story in the WiiWare release, which was like ages and ages ago. But it wasn't like 20 years ago, but it was like I played Cave Story, and then the next year I played Braid, and then the next year I was like fully in the indie scene.
I played Cave Story back before they had an official translation. It was still fan translated back in the day.
Oh,
and
interesting.
It's a very different script than what it is now, because there was no official English release because a small single Japanese developer releasing a game in Japanese, and then fans translate. I mean, that's kind of a powerful course for a lot of like Dojin games, like Fate Stay Night and stuff like that. But I will say, yeah, it was an interesting time playing that on my keyboard. I mean, I was more comfortable with the controller, of course, but Cave Story was really good.
Yeah,
I added it to my wish list. And it looks like it's on sale too, so I might pick it up.
I played Cave Story in like 2010 or 2011 or something like that, and it was the English version. It was on Wii, but I remember just being like, "Dude, this is amazing! I love this."
For those who don't know, Cave Story is a Metroidvania that takes, I guess, more inspiration from like the Metroid side of things and the Vania side of things, but it's still a great game.
Yeah, no, it looks really fun.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is try to play it without a guide. There are multiple endings, and multiple different weapons that you may be able to get or miss.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know what's funny? I never thought of it as a Metroidvania, but it absolutely is. That's cool. Wow.
I think it's. Yeah,
I will.
so
I will. I will say this: when it comes to indie games, I think we have a variety of different ways. My choice of indie games are very different than your guys' choices of indie games.
Yeah.
Mine tend to be either mod-esque or like first-person horror. I really like the horror scene of indie games. Not usually Metroidvania. Not. It's just I played a ton of these types of games growing up, and so I kind of got my feel of them. Even though I'm always excited to try it out, I always have something else that I want to play. I think that's been my problem.
I understand.
This looks good though. Like it definitely, and if it's like a very historical like indie game I definitely want to try it out.
Yeah.
So
I think my taste of indie games is basically just like games that do something innovative with like the mechanics that I played as a kid.
Oh, interesting.
That's the kind of indie game that I like to play. Like that's why I like Metroidvania so much, and that's why the indie Metroidvania scene is so influential for me, is because, man, when I first got my hands on Super Metroid, it was like this profound experience for me. And then having games that are in that genre that are doing something new, where AAA games aren't even servicing that genre really, it's like, I think that it makes a lot of sense. That's my psychological rationale for it anyway. But
no,
yeah,
I mean, that's what makes the indie scene so cool, is that, and especially nowadays where you can make any type of game, because my type of game is mine's gonna be first person, maybe third person, horror light kind of game, and it's the type of games I like to play, but I want to bring my own flair into it and some game mechanics. But that's what makes the indie so fun, is that they can do things differently. They can make things, it doesn't have to be about the graphics. It can be about mechanics. It can be about whatever. If they want to make it about the graphics, they can make it like a very narrative driven game, but it's still indie, very individualistic, very small. And that's what makes the indie scene so great.
They can take risks and nobody above them is going to tell them no. That's what I love about indies.
Yep.
Speaking of which, you like indie FPSs, right? Have you tried playing a game called Ultra Kill?
Yes. That's a fun one.
Yeah, man. It's great, man. I like it, like busts your balls when you're trying to play like perfectly, try to get P ranks and everything, but man, it is so nice.
Yeah, it's a really fun game.
Yeah, it's like a mix of Devil May Cry, Quake, and like amps it up to like 11.
That's an interesting way to put it. I like that. The stupidest, most fun game I've played in a while that was indie was Choo Choo Charles. I don't know if you guys have played that. But the thing is, I watched so it came out a couple years ago, and it's a very silly game, but it's also kind of creepy. Like if you find Thomas the Tank Engine very like off-putting in some ways, they essentially the developer took a game idea, I think, and built it in like a year. And it's this spider tank, this tank that has spider legs that chases you around a map, and you have to you're on this like rail system on this train that you have to keep going to find parts, I think, to repair it and to eventually seal or kill Choo Choo Charles. It's really in some ways stupid and silly, but in other ways, like, it's fascinating that he was able to take this idea and create a horror game from it, and the mechanics in it are fun. And it's, I think, done by just one guy. He's now on to making some new games that we've seen. A new game is that Gummy Bear one or whatever it was called. Like, it had a trailer not like a half year ago, but I only bring this up is because the mechanics in that is fun, but it was a really fun one to stream. So it's like to play with other people. It's one of those games. I don't know if you used to play some games with friends, but like I used to play games with friends. I'm like, this is just a good old time to play, and that's one of them. So
Speaking of Japanese games that turn 20 years old, Japanese indie games that turn 20 years old, Yume Nikki also turned 20 years old like a few months ago. And I've mentioned it before. It's sort of like you're exploring dreams, essentially, but it's like it's not psychological horror, but it's like very like unsettling psychological stuff. They also made a sequel that's on Steam called Yume Nikki Dream Diary. It's like almost like a platform version of the game, almost published by Kadokawa Games. What? Wait. Oh
you
no,
go.
everything's going back. Oh, there we go. Another Kadokawa developed game. It was published by PlayStation, though.
This is very abstract in some ways. Wow.
Yeah, I guarantee you guys will enjoy it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, James, I mean, you were saying that you like the indie modding scene, and Final Fantasy VII's Rebirth directors asked the fans not to make inappropriate mods for the game.
That is just so funny because it was going to happen, but it's going to happen faster and probably more prevalent now that they asked not to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because usually the people that are going to make those types of mods tend to be a little bit more immature anyways. So
it's the
and more spiteful too.
And more spiteful.
Yeah.
The director of Final Fantasy 16 also said the same thing. They asked fans not to make inappropriate mods for Final Fantasy 16. And guess what? You guessed it. They were made.
Here's my thing. I don't like, as a developer, why do you care that someone's modding your game? Like, Japanese mindsets are really bizarre. And as long as you're making these mods in like not inside of Japan, you don't have any legal problems. So if you make them in Japan, like there's a lot of issues with that. So yeah, if you're Japanese, don't make mods for these games, especially when they say don't, because they'll sue you and they'll win. But
or you can pretend to be American.
I don't think that works. Not if you're living in Japan. Just pretend like you're American. Yeah, I don't get the sentiment, because there's some developers that do not like their games getting modded, and just because I'm in the scene a lot, I find it very, in some ways, offensive to be like, well, I bought the game, let me mod it. Like, why? As long as you don't have to go look down the modding scene. Like, you don't need to see that it's being modded. Why do you care? I don't get why people care.
I mean, didn't someone get arrested for modifying save files in Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know. It was a save files. I thought they were just.
There have been a couple incidents like that. One of them was about save files.
Yeah. There's also been modders just modding like content that got arrested.
So I think
just disgusting. Honestly, that's disgusting.
I think the director knows it's futile, but I also think it might be like a corporate mandate, or it could be like a 1,000 IQ reverse psychology play.
Could be, yeah. It's just because it's in Japan. It's a Japanese developer. It's Japan. I don't think it is. I think it's 100%. I think it's people aren't gonna like it. It's a narcissistic level a little bit. They're like, they want full control of their IP, and they don't like the idea of people touching it. And
yeah,
the Italian.
It runs the whole gamut. Like, so Sega is usually pretty good about that stuff, but then Final Fantasy Square,
true.
These other companies are the opposite. Nintendo, goddamn Nintendo.
Yeah, Capcom's generally pretty good about fanworks. Like, there was a pretty recent like expansive mod for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite called Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Beyond. It's helmed by a Maximilian dude, one of the top content creators in like FGC stuff, and it looks pretty good. I would say. I don't know if you're familiar with MVCI's history, but yeah. Also, one more thing, and then so I don't know, man. Final Fantasy, it's gonna happen. The Italian Senate's gonna get ready for more Final Fantasy VII mods. If you remember what happened then, did you hear about that incident? So this was like back when we were still in the pandemic, and we were still doing like remote calls for everything. And the Italian Senate had live streamed a meeting, and one of the members was watching a particular video of Cloud and Tifa. Let's just say.
Okay, I remember this now. Yeah. Oh,
Oh God, there's gonna be way more mods for like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth than for Final Fantasy 16 because Tifa's in the game.
I mean, it's iconic. It's always been like that. Like, it's funny. Especially, it's funny to even come out with this because it's gonna happen.
It's also especially funny because the character I remember hearing about the most was Aerith because Aerith dies in the original.
Wait, what?
And
I'm just kidding.
Spoilers, dude.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! Oh shit!
Wait, does she not die in the remakes? Are they going to keep her alive?
I don't know. They might be saving her death for like the third disc. I mean, third whatever it's going to be called.
Third disc. I mean, that's a good way to put it.
That's funny. Wasn't like one of the Final Fantasy games at the Game Awards this year?
Yeah, it was a Rebirth actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like, you guys want to catch up on the Game Awards because we did that live stream, and
Yeah,
it was
so
pretty fun.
The Game Awards was actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it was actually a really good year.
Yeah.
I think they did a good
Yeah.
job. And people that complain about it being like, oh, well, it's just to try to make money or to show things off. I'm like, that's the whole point. What do you think the point is? Is like to put, like, they'll announce games to try to get light on those games so that they can sell. And then it's also to say, hey, these games did really well. Here's your awards for doing it. And that will also help their sales. And if it's a good game, let's promote good games. Like, if that's, I don't know. I didn't think it was too bad. Like, in the sense of, like, felt like it was wrong, I should say.
all right, so let's talk about some of the announcements. We have Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I want to play that.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, my funny story. I looked at my Steam, whatchamacallit, the replay or whatever, and it tells you like your 6 most played genres. Let's see, hold on, let me pull it up actually. Replay, and then my most played genres were. God, where are the links? There it is. God, it takes forever to get to it. But scroll down. Let's see. Roguelike deck builder, like Casablatro. Metroidvania, third-person shooter, open world survival craft, spectacle fighter, and the last one is ninja.
Ninja.
I don't even think I played that many ninja games. I've only played like 2 of them. Shadow of the Ninja and Cyber Shadow.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Mine is hilarious.
So what does yours say?
My 6 are roguelike deck builders, number 1. Dwarf is 2. 3 is MOBA. 4 is trivia. 5 is Souls-like, and 6 is FPS.
Huh.
Dwarf? Do you play Dwarf Fortress or something?
I think I bought it. I didn't play it though. What game is that? Because there's a couple of games that are dwarf. But I don't think I played it much this year. What's it called? It's like a mining game, but it came out like a year or 2 ago. I played a bunch of that a year ago, but not this year.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at mine now.
Yeah, what does your spider graph show?
In descending order from most to least popular, my number 1 is sports, which is because I was developing this game, and then it's VR. So it's VR, and then 3D platformer, MOBA, which I can't remember playing any MOBA games, and then chess, which I'm developing a new game that's based on chess, and then match 3.
What's the last one?
What?
Match 3.
Match 3.
Like Bejeweled and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So you're a big Bejeweled person. Okay, makes sense.
Well, chess. My chess mess game is actually.
Yeah.
I did play a lot of Bejeweled actually, but
That's.
I love Bejeweled.
I was
love
kidding
those
about
kind
that,
of
but that's
games.
fun. They're fun. Those are what I play on this.
I love those kind of games, dude.
Dude.
Yeah.
So MOBA might be Valve's new game. That is MOBA.
Oh yes, yeah.
So you did play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting that they Like how much of it did you play though?
I mean, it's up there in my top like 8 or something, I think.
Oh,
I
what? Yeah, it's weird that they put Ninja in mine because none of my like top played games. Like I have Destiny 2 as my top played game, followed by Balatro, followed by Starbound, followed by Lost Epic, followed by Rabbit and Steel. None of them have ninjas in them or are explicitly ninja themed, so to speak, which is unusual. But whatever, I guess. Ninjas are cool.
Helldivers is like probably Helldivers 2 is my most played game this year. I haven't played it in the second half of the year, but I played it a ton. I'm shocked that didn't get like the FPS up at the top because that's the one I played drastically more than anything else this year. Control.
It's a third-person shooter.
It is yeah, that's true. I guess it wouldn't be for FPS, but like what category in there indicates Helldivers 2? It's not Souls-like, it's not a roguelike, it's not Dwarf, it's not a MOBA.
I'll be right back.
So kind of I wonder if they need to tweak okay, Gardner. They need to tweak their algorithm, I think. Pal World is one. Like Open World could have been one that they maybe added to that. But like Pal World, I played a bunch this year, like a ton. I had a server with my community. Control, I almost 100%ed that. I played some Epic games too, so not all the games I played are on this, but that's really weird. Pacific Drive, I played a bunch. Sorry, continue. Like,
yeah, I understand. There are some interesting conundrums because if you scroll down, it'll tell you like a certain percentage of your playtime was with a controller. So it says here 11% of my playtime was with a controller, but when I scroll back up, it says 43%. I've played 43% of like games. My playtime was 43% control. Or was 57% controller. There's some like conflicting information. Like I don't know what's going on.
My only game that I've played in December has been Konosuba game.
Wait, what kind of game is that?
Which is a very stupid game, but I have a fixation. Like I have a hyperfixation on Konosuba for like I really like that it's like the counter story that it has, but it's just a stupid dress game. I have it on the Steam Deck, and so like I only say this because it's just so I can't believe that's the only game that I've played in December on because it's my Steam Deck.
So, quick question: do you know who owns Konosuba?
Yes, you just mentioned it. It's yeah, I know.
Dude, oh wait, I found another game that might qualify as a ninja game. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. I don't know if that technically counts. I'm not even sure if he's really a ninja, but he certainly moves like one.
So, yeah, that's funny. So, Deep Rock Galactic, I played a little bit in January. That's where the dwarf came from. Number 2 on my list. I played 3% that month in January, and I get the dwarf. It's so weird. Like Control, I played 70% of January.
You know what we should do? We should go over our timeline view here.
That's what I'm doing. Is I'm doing my timeline right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show it. I'm gonna show mine first, and then I'll show y'all's second and third.
I can't show mine. Mine's too adult. No, I'm just kidding.
So let's see. January. Here are my games in January. Lots of first played in 2024. Was busy cleaning out my backlog. Let's see. Then we have February. Balatro, Slave 0x. Blaze Blue, Entropy Effect. I think that was an early access for a while. Yada, yada, yada. Destiny 2 for a little bit. Lost Ruins. Momodora came out. Beat that. That was pretty good. March again. Balatro, Slave 0x. Oh, Ender Magnolia is supposed to come out this year. It's an early access right now, but it's supposed to come out like sometime next year, like in 2025. And then, I played a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2. I really liked it. But like it started to fall apart the more I played it. It's kind of unfortunate.
It looked like a
Yeah.
fun game. I haven't played Dragon's Dogma 1 yet.
And then they made a Needy Streamer Have you heard of that game? Needy Streamer Overload?
Mm-mm.
So it's like a streamer simulator. It's
Oh.
like low key kind of funny. And they made a spin-off game, and they're making another spin-off game that's basically Typing of the Dead,
Interesting.
which is stupid. Anyway,
I'll play those simulator ones or like games that are kind of like that on the iPad or phone. Those are the type of ones I'll just play on the phone.
I mean,
How'd you like Sucker for Love, the second one?
Sucker for Love. It's interesting. I don't think I've beaten it yet, to be honest. I still need to play more of it.
I'm gonna be streaming that probably in the next week. They're so fun to stream. The Sucker for Love one was actually really fun indie game, and it's a couple developer that also is very interesting. Oh my gosh, my camera.
So let's see notable games. Rabbit and Steel. Y'all should play Rabbit and Steel. And let's see Rabbit Hole. I don't know how I found this game, but it was actually pretty fun. I'm surprised rabbits weren't like one of my top tags. Whatever. And then
Prey's so good.
Yeah, I first played it in 2024. I played it after I heard about Arcane shutting down.
Oh, that's like the worst time to play it because then you're gonna get. Prey is really good. I really am shocked that Prey did not do better.
And see what else we've got. Oh, we've got Gardner's game, Doodlings. Second base. Very nice. It's right up there with Master Chief too. You know that's how you know it's a banger.
Hell yeah.
He opened it.
Let's see, and then see. You see, I played a lot of Destiny too, and then I think this is about the point where I stopped. So you got Dragon's Dogma. I think I did that for battery testing purposes. I forget what it was.
Yep.
But
if my game was like, if you see a game on my timeline that's 1 or 2, 3%, usually it was because I was testing on a device or something.
Yeah. Metroidvania kicks right here. Oh, and Shadow of the Ninja Reborn, one of my ninja games. Wait.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wait. This might qualify as a ninja game too. Maybe. I don't know.
Gamblers. There's your gambler side coming out.
Yes. Yeah, so have y'all heard of this? Dungeons and Degenerate Gamblers?
Nope.
It's like Balatro, but with blackjack, almost. It doesn't play quite like Balatro, because instead of like trying to meet a score threshold, you're trying to deplete your opponent's life.
Mm.
So it's more, yeah. And then let's see what else. September, more Metroidvanias, more ninjas, Master Chief Collection. On and off, I've been playing the Master Chief Collection because there's mods on there. There's Master Chief Collection mods. They're pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Doom's really good.
Yeah, Doom is really good. And then, I don't know. Been kind of lazy with playing games in November. More Rabbit and Steel. And, Marvel Rivals. It's comprised of over half of my playtime.
I need to try it still.
And then there's mine.
My year is really sad.
Gardner, do you have a link to yours? I want to put it on the stream for everyone to see.
Yeah, hold on, I'll give it to you.
And
do you want to?
Guess you do. And
do you guys want to see mine?
Yes, we'll do both. Atlas is pretty good too. It's like a single player MMO almost. Of course, be wary in case you don't like furry art. So we'll do James first. So the Brink, let's see what he's done. He's played 68 games. He's played less games than he did last year.
Yep.
He's unlocked fewer achievements. Yeah. Oh, not very nice.
I've also played games on other platforms too.
Yeah.
Which is not really common for me, but this year was different. Yeah.
I see your spider chart broke the charts quite a bit.
It still shows FPS, but I don't know why it was.
I don't know, but
interesting.
Ninja, dwarf. Damn, that's gonna be our like class. Like if we were real life classes, I would be like a ninja. You'd be like a dwarf.
That'd be
kind of crazy.
That would be crazy.
And then Gardner would have some sort of like sports-based class.
Oh,
Let's
this
see.
is actually really funny.
Let's
This is
see,
fun.
Helldivers 2. All right. Control.
Control's
All right.
so
Power
good.
World. Nice. The Brink made adorable friends. Then he gave them guns. Now their friends are adorable and dangerous.
Yeah, that was a
Wow.
fun one.
Half-Life 2. Way to put the crowbar to good use. Goat Simulator.
I beat Half-Life 2 this year. I wasn't. I loaded up one of the levels. Like it's just a couple levels in, and then I just to play it on to like try it out on the device, and I ended up beating the game. It was so funny.
And then Goat Simulator. You know, I wish they would just let Valve let developers put like fancy text for that. Like
Agreed.
because like
So
it kind of sucks when you see
it's fun. That's my son. I let him play my Steam Deck, and I let him play Goat Simulator.
Damn. You know they have Goat Simulator on phones now?
Yeah, he has it on his iPad, but I let him play it on the Steam Deck because it's just controls better.
Let's see. Playtime. 83% playtime on Windows versus 16% on the Steam Deck.
That's a hard one to believe, but yeah, it's probably because of Helldivers. I played a hell of a lot of Helldivers.
The number of games played, yeah, it kind of looks like mine, except mine I have more Steam Deck playtime. But yeah, I mean, number of games played, you've played more games on Steam Deck, but you've also played games longer on Windows.
Yep, I try out a lot of games on the deck. I really like seeing what plays and what doesn't.
Let's see what you played on the Steam Deck. 36% Goat Simulator, Slay the Spire, Dead Space, Konosuba.
Once again, Konosuba was the only game I played in December when we get to the list.
Let's see, and Haunt the House.
Haunt the House is another one that my kids like to play. It's a fun one.
See demos that you've played. Wait, shit! I never showed you guys the demos. Let's see, what demos did I play? Actually, I don't think I've ever looked at that. 117 demos. Holy shit, that's a lot.
Holy shit!
All right, well, you have to remember, I make Next Fest videos.
Yeah.
I know you do. Like I know that you do a lot of you do a lot.
Yeah, I know it's insane. I like how they didn't show any of my top 5 demos.
Yeah,
Probably because I don't know.
You broke the algorithm.
Let's see, Daily Streak 14, Persona 5. I see.
I'm trying to get back into it. Actually, I don't know why it doesn't show that on later on. I'm pretty sure I played a bunch of it
in December.
December and November. It's not showing up.
Were you offline?
Maybe, yeah, or maybe this was created after I started playing it because it was this.
So January you played. Let's see, Control. Oh, there's your dwarf right there.
And that's what I was going to say. That's where that's the only. And Deep Rock Galactic is really fun, but it's the only time I played a dwarf game, and it pegged me as a dwarf, which is funny.
See. That's super funny. Yeah, let's see. Nice. March, we got. What do we have in March?
A lot of 1%. Like I picked up Starfield and I just couldn't keep on. I just couldn't play. I picked it up. I look around. I'm like, I don't know. I'd close it.
Tacoma, hell yeah.
I haven't played Tacoma.
Is another one I picked up and I didn't finish it. Meaning, I didn't play that much, but I want to. It's what was the game that they made before Tacoma?
Gone Home.
Gone Home. Was it Gone Home before? But Gone Home's good. I like
Tacoma. Kind of sounds like a car.
Tacoma is a car and it's a place.
Yeah. Let's see what else. April, we've got Helldivers. Yeah, you did play you played a bunch of Helldivers. Yeah, I can see that. And Goat Simulator. Well, I mean, your kid played a lot of Goat Simulator.
Fallout because the Fallout TV series and the patch.
Fallout 76. Nice. Oh, Nightmare Card. That was
fun. That was fun. That's a good card game. I was actually my community will gift me games sometimes, and that was one of the ones they gifted me.
I thought it was free.
Oh no, this one's free. It was the other one. Yeah, sorry. This one is free. Yeah, that was really fun. It was Red Out that I was gifted, and that was really fun too. It's like a Wipeout clone.
Yeah. So let's see, July. Lots of games. Half-Life 1. Very nice. Baldur's Gate 3.
I keep on trying it on Steam Deck and just is not great.
Yeah, because of the third act, right?
Uh-huh. Power World played a bunch of that. Buckshot Roulette is really fun.
Oh yeah, my friend Carl played that with his son. His son is like 2.5 years old, and his son just sits on his lap while he's playing Buckshot Roulette.
That is,
dude, I wouldn't show my kid.
That's crazy.
That's so funny.
2 years old. I don't know if they're gonna quite get the concept. Yeah, that's interesting.
His son is. I just remember him sitting, like his son sitting on his lap, and he's the cutest little boy you ever seen, and he's just like,
kill him,
like staring at the screen, like
kill
what
him.
are you looking at, dude?
That's funny. It Takes Two. I still haven't finished it, but I've been playing that with my son. That's a fun game. That's a fun game.
See October we have quite a few games.
Oh yeah, a bunch of horror games, stuff like that. I played a bunch then.
It is spooky season after all.
Yeah, I love Halloween time and I love my horror games.
And here we have November. We have Slay the Spire, of course. It Takes Two. Who's Your Daddy? Konosuba.
Who's Your Daddy?
What is this
game? Shipbreaker. It's kind of like it's not a space sim, but it's a space game where you have to. I haven't gotten
repairing spaceships.
Yeah, you're repairing spaceships, and I haven't played enough to actually tell you fully what it is. But it's a fun game.
Is it like FTL, but like first person?
No, it's not FTL. I'll tell you later when I get more into it because I'm doing some research for my game for it. And then December, the only game it's just like Konosuba, which I'll own it. It is like a dressing kind of game, but I don't play these types of games typically. But the Konosuba universe, for some reason, I just really like. I'm hyper focused on that for a series. So,
hey man, don't you know Sony's gonna make a live action Konosuba, and they're gonna cast Timothy Chalamet as this guy.
Oh my gosh,
here, Kazuma.
Well, what makes Konosuba fun is it's like it's a very non-typical story, and so.
Wait. Yeah. Wait. No. It's Sony that we're talking about. So they're gonna cast Tom Holland as Kazuma.
Gosh. Oh God. I mean, whatever. I don't think Konosuba could translate over to live action in any way.
I don't
still
think
watch
so
it.
either.
I'd still watch
Let's
it.
see. We have Gardner Bryant. See, very nice. Doodlings, Animal Well.
I bought Animal Well, and I'm gonna try Animal Well.
Yeah, same. I bought Animal Well last sale.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, here we go. We've got sports. Yeah, Gardner is going to be like some sort of 3D platformer sports VR class.
Yeah.
In real life. Let's see. Match 3, chess, MOBA. Let's see. We've got Doodlings, Arcade Sports Ball.
Just so you know, I have put 125 hours into this game in 2024 because I was developing it. So, yeah, that's why all of my other numbers are so low.
A little bit of a narcissist there, playing your own game that much.
You know, I want it to be good.
Obviously, that's what you want to do. That's a good sign. That's a good sign that you're trying it out.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's see. You got Animal Well, very nice. Half-Life 2, very nice.
You got that
shit
because of the whole update, right, in November.
I played the shit out of it in November. It was awesome.
I played it so much beginning of the year that I didn't pick it back up. I need to still pick it back up and try it out.
See, we got Splunky, also November.
That's
very nice.
My favorite game ever made, by the way, Splunky.
Splunky's a good one.
Dude, Splunky's a good one. I need to play it more. I played the original a lot. The original freeware version a lot. It was so good.
Ooh,
I need to play
Command and Conquer's so good.
Yeah.
I've never played a Command and Conquer game. I think the only real RTS experience I have is with like Age of Empires.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was a kid.
Age of Empires is good. StarCraft is the best RTS in my opinion, but Command and Conquer is really good.
I'll have to disagree with you on that. I don't like Blizzard games, period. I don't think I've ever played a game that I like.
Let's see, Gardner Bryant played on more than one device.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I do a lot of
shit.
development on the game. and my other team members were on Windows, so I had to use Windows for most of it. So
Interesting.
No worries. No worries. I'm just I didn't know there were
Yeah.
multiple colors.
Wow, this really calls you out. I thought you were
I
like
know.
more into Linux.
I am.
Well,
Damn,
I mean,
you're
the
a,
truth
you're a
comes out now.
fraud. You're a fraud.
Well, I mean,
Wait.
the blue is technically Linux. I'm just gonna say.
True that.
Yeah,
but you use
we'll see what
Windows
the,
more.
we'll see what the Linux content creators say about that when they find this, and your haters.
Yeah, we're gonna report this to Brody. What's his face?
Dude, yeah.
Nah, I'm messing with you, man.
Yeah, I know.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
No. I'll share you the 2023 if you want to check my creds here. But
I don't
Yeah, we'll check that in a bit. In the meantime, though, let's look at
that's
what you
funny.
played on the Steam Deck: Doodlings, Animal Well, Splunky, Tiberian Sun, and Snake Pass. Huh?
that's the
I didn't see that.
platformer. The
Oh.
playing Command and Conquer on the Steam Deck is actually quite cool. It's quite fun.
That's what trackpads are for.
Yeah.
Top played VR games: Beat Saber and Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
Man, I hope Valve releases the Deckard so I can play Half-Life Alyx without, because like I like the Index. I know a guy that has the Index, but like having to set up the base stations just does not sound appealing to me, to be honest.
Well, and at this
Yeah.
point too, I don't know if I would buy an Index,
No.
but like with Gardner and I, we bought it when Half-Life Alyx came out
Yeah.
for Half-Life Alyx.
The thing about the
I
base
understand.
stations is like I got them like just connected. They're installed on the wall in my living room, and I don't have to think about it. I just turn them on and play.
Yeah. Also, what
Yep.
so this came up again. So this is what I don't understand. It says here that 10% of your playtime was with a controller,
Yeah.
but if I scroll up, it says 46%.
Yeah. And honestly, like you guys were like making fun of me for playing mostly on Windows, but like I'm more embarrassed that like only 46% of my playtime was with a controller. Dude, like the previous year, my playtime with a controller, let me see if I can find it real quick, was a lot higher because I hate mouse and keyboard. Like I absolutely
Really?
I hate playing games with a mouse and keyboard.
We're the opposite. I
Yeah,
love mouse
we
and
are.
keyboard. I love Steam Deck though, but I'll even hook up a mouse and keyboard to my Steam Deck when I'm traveling.
Controller.
I see Gardner hasn't played any demos at all.
I played 2, but they're not listed for some reason.
Huh.
Oh. Huh. And here's your monthly breakdown. We've got Doodlings.
Ooh, Burnout
Dude.
Paradise is good.
Mm.
I got Burnout Paradise remastered working on the Steam Deck, which is pretty
Good. That's awesome.
Really?
Yep.
What was that Proton DB? I mean Proton GE?
I think it was Proton GE. I had to actually. I think I just had to like boot up. I don't remember because it was in January.
I've got it to work before. Like
Yeah.
it's just it was weird. I can't remember what I had to do.
It works now just fine without having to do anything special. But back in January, you had to do something stupid to get it to work.
No, I had it working like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I see Command and February you have Command and Conquer.
Always
How's
good.
Splunky 2? I haven't played that. I have the
Man.
original like Splunky.
I'll tell you, it's good, but it's not as good as the first one, in my opinion. Like,
Doom Eternal
damn.
is so good.
dude, Doom Eternal is one of the best games ever.
It is. It's peak.
Yeah,
You guys think Doom the Dark Ages is going to run well on Steam Deck?
yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Shadow
It's the same
Complex, that's a
engine.
good
They
one.
know how to optimize things. They know how to optimize. Like
Yeah,
it's
if you guys
crazy.
haven't played Shadow Complex, that comes with my highest recommendation too.
I think I've played that on the
I've heard of it. I
Xbox
haven't played it.
360 back in the day. Yeah, it's like a Metroidvania, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I played that on the Xbox. It was pretty. It's real. It's nice. And then we have
yeah.
Doodlings,
Yeah.
Animal Well, Halo Infinite. Let's see if there's any unusual outliers here. Portal
What's with
RTX.
Shotgun
What's
King.
with Huh?
Ooh, Shotgun King.
That is an excellent game. It's chess, but like you only control the Black King, and you have a shotgun, and you have to shoot the other
Oh.
pieces, the white pieces. It's so good. Oh my
That's
God.
interesting.
Let's see what else we've got.
I don't know if you can tell, but I love Command and Conquer. By the way,
Yeah.
Dude, Renegade.
Oh, Renegade, yeah.
Ooh, Marathon.
They really
Classic
need to make more
Marathon.
Command and Conquers. I really want more.
Let's see what else we've got. We've got Star Wars. What was this? Jedi Knight 2?
Yeah.
That's
Shit. That's a good one. The powder toy.
That's
Hey, Gardner, I know you like the powder toy. Have you tried Noita? It's basically the powder toy, but like as a roguelike.
No, I haven't tried.
With powder element physics too.
Oh.
It's great. It's great.
quick too.
It doesn't have cloud saves though because the world sizes can be ginormous. Like if you're like trying to play in one world and like not die. There's a lot of like esoteric elements to it once you go past like the main objective. A lot of Command and Conquer.
Yeah. And that's Caesarea, which is like do you guys remember Caesar? Caesar 2, I think. I don't know.
Caesar, yeah.
Dude, that's a great like strategy sim,
Okay.
Okay.
and it's free. It's open source.
I just want to say
try
this is one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Horizontal box art.
Yeah.
I fucking hate this shit.
Yeah.
I wish like Ubisoft would go back and fix this shit.
Yeah. I agree. That's why I have like a plugin on my Steam Deck to fix it.
Ah.
Yeah.
But you can tell, like, I play lots of older games. I don't really play a lot of new games. Like,
So I see you have Deadlock. Yeah, this is where your MOBA's coming from. Yeah.
Bulletstorm, dude. Play some Bulletstorm. That's pretty fun.
I do have Bulletstorm. Let's see. Ooh, Billionaire. Oh, that's the demo. Oh, that's nice. We've got Doom 64, Doom Eternal, Dead Space. And then what do we got here? Zuma. Oh, is this your match? This must be your match 3.
Match 3. Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
And Tetris.
Have you beaten Outer Worlds?
No,
You barely played it. Okay.
Yeah, I got into it. I created. You create a character in that game? I don't remember, but I did.
Well, no,
I did like the intro part, and I played
Yeah.
like, the first level or two, and I was like, this isn't really my style.
It's starts out slow too, though. But yeah.
All right. And then here's Beat Saber and Half-Life Alyx and Splunky. And I think that covers it for the Steam replays. I know we showed all of our Steam replays and whatnot.
That's fun, though. That's actually fun. I really like that. That's interesting. Gardner's a mix of like a lot of old with some new. High tech is like mostly new, and then I mine's a mix. I didn't go back to as many old ones that I usually do.
Yeah. What you don't see on that is all the GOG games that I've been playing this year.
True.
And all the like, what was the other one? I have like a bunch of Humble games that didn't come with keys. Not a bunch, but a few. So I've been playing those as well.
Epic, like Alan Wake 2 is on Epic, and I played that and some of the DLC for that. Blizzard games. I played some Blizzard games.
Yeah, and tons of emulation as well. Like I love emulated games. I found an x86 PC emulator, and it doesn't run great on the Steam Deck because it's like actually like emulating the hardware of old x86 PCs, like 386s, 486s. And,
Oh wow!
Did you know you're live streaming this?
Am I? Oh, I
Yeah,
am.
you are. You were live streaming this whole time.
We're live streaming this whole time.
I didn't
Look at
even
that.
know that. That's cool.
That's fucking awesome. Now I get to read some of the comments and pretend like I read them the entire time. Dude.
Wait, I want to see the stream too. Dude, that's awesome. 6 people.
Dude, I didn't even realize it. That's so funny, man.
Well, we can keep on doing it if we want.
Well, it's up to y'all, man. It's up to y'all.
I mean,
but
have you been streaming the whole time?
I think we have been.
Nice.
It's probably set up from the last one where it automatically records. I'm using the studio, Riverside Studio, like their app, and I can't really control that very well from here.
Cast Coder's like, you didn't know? That explains a lot. Yes, it does explain a lot. I know. because usually these
Uh,
episodes are pre-recorded and we
Yep.
kind of just edit down and cut them down, etc.
Yep.
But it turns out we forgot to change it. I mean, do you guys like the streams, the live streams?
What live streams?
Like this impromptu live stream, because we can keep doing this if you'd like.
I don't mind. I usually do it as like a. Yeah.
Well, I was actually asking the audience.
Yeah,
but,
asking the audience. Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think too? I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are.
Yeah.
We'll see what they have to say, and we'll look. Like, I'm fine doing it.
Yeah, I'm down too. I do think we should still
releasing it though. Like, it's really hard to release it. You either have to like private this and then release it. I don't know.
I think that's what we should do. I think we should just private the VOD and then edit it in the way and release it as an episode. That way we can also put it on our other platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you should follow us there too. By the way, shameless plug.
How did you find out we were live streaming High Tech?
Because I was gonna pull up our stats for the live stream, because we hit 335 views on our watch party, and that's pretty good for a channel that's never streamed before.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the stats on that?
About 335 like views. I think that's probably after the stream period. But man, it's pretty cool, and this also coincides with the fact that apparently the Game Awards was the most watched Game Awards so far. Not super surprising, but hey, it is what it is.
Cascoder. Oh, he mentioned that Gardner, that your audio is low. So if we do streaming, we'll need to figure out that whole adjustment. We usually adjust it in post, but
yeah, that's usually how it goes. Don't worry, we're gonna release a version where we fix Gardner's audio.
Sorry. I tend to like be very loud when I talk, so I turn my gain down so I don't clip. So that's probably
that makes sense. I should probably do that too, to be honest.
Yeah. Gardner's usually a little too loud. High Tech's a little too, sorry, the opposite. Gardner, you're too low. High Tech's a little too high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit. What time is it now?
I think we're pretty much done. Yeah. I think the live stream thing threw us off a little bit, but we were covering the Game Awards, and then we went straight into like what we were playing this year, which none of my stuff was on like Game of the Year award, I think. Right. But I have a place, Astrobot, I do have it, and I will be playing it next week. So to kind of bring it back in the Game Awards, like I've been playing Balatro on my iPad, really had fun with that. Astrobots is also one that I'm really excited for, and it's an innovative one, but I can understand why some people didn't want it to win, but I do think it deserves it because it's innovative and it's fun, and it's just, from what I've seen, it is definitely deserving of the title, as opposed to Elden Ring not being deserving of the title just because it's DLC. It's not standalone.
So do you think they'll make an official policy next year when they so that they don't nominate another DLC ever again?
I don't even know if they need to do that. I just don't see it happening much. DLCs don't usually get nominated, partially because they're just usually not as good as the base game. And even with that, there's not as many people that play the DLC as opposed to the base game. So even if they make it a policy, that's fine. But I'd be really surprised if a DLC wins ever.
Yeah.
But I got up to answer the door, and I got a package in the mail, and it's the 8-bit dough.
That looks so good.
Dude,
I have one of those too.
And actually,
same color too.
I got this one as well, which is the Switch version, and it's a little bit different.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They sent me those too.
Really?
Both of those at
Oh,
the same
yeah.
time too.
Dude,
I think we know the same guy.
I need to up my game. I get a bunch of emails and I never respond to people.
They
I
didn't
need.
even ask to send me these. They just sent them to me.
Well, once you're on
Yeah,
the list
same.
with a lot of these, they will start sending you stuff. So I'm not on their list. I need to get on their list.
Mm.
Cass Coder says, "Can I have one?"
I'll probably be giving them away on the channel, so stay tuned on my show.
Yeah, stay tuned on Gardner's channel.
If I can get a hold of them, Cascoder, how about this, Cascoder? If you get me on the list and get me one, I'll give you one after I review it. I know Cascoder. I talk to him on Discord and stuff like that all the time.
Well,
he's awesome. He was a QA. Like he was a part of a company that did QAing for games and stuff. He does a different QA job now, but yeah.
Probably better paid and benefits and all that stuff too, since it's not in the games industry, right?
Yeah, but it was always hard because I'd be talking about a game on stream. He's like, I can't say anything about that. I'm like, I want to know.
Well, maybe that'll be a different story for a different day.
Yes, we're hitting the 3-hour mark.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think we can probably wrap the show up. Thank you, everybody on the stream that we didn't know was watching. And thanks, everybody, for listening and watching in the edited version of the show.
Yeah, and sorry for ignoring you guys that watched it live. I didn't know it was live. I don't think any of us did.
Nobody did. No.
James forgot to change it.
Yeah, we're going to blame James for this one.
Blame me for stuff. I'm fine with it.
Cool.
Just don't hold me to account.
Gotcha. Anyways.
Yeah, that's been Off the Console. The episode number is 9?
9.
9.
Yes, this is 9, yes.
And this is the last episode before Christmas, right? So, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. What the hell? I meant to say Hanukkah, you know.
Happy Hanukkah.
Are we doing an episode next week on the 28th?
I'm game.
Yeah, I should be down.
Too.
I'm down. I shouldn't have anything going on.
Cool.
So.
All
All
right.
right. Well, thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys, for watching and listening. Later.
All right.
That
was interesting.
The thing is, like, I disabled YouTube, our integration with YouTube in the studio, but then I added a custom STMP link because I needed to in order to do a future, but like a future stream, like to schedule a stream, that is. And so I'm curious.
I think it's still streaming, to be honest.
It should stop in a second. Once there's a delay. Once I hit stop on this, the streaming should stop.
Okay, so like I heard a bunch of emails come in, and the first one that came in while we were recording was, "You're now live on YouTube," and I totally didn't look because I wanted to focus.
That is funny.
We're still recording, by the way. We're still streaming.
I have no clue what to do about that. We're gonna have to close the studio out. So
yeah, I guess
I've
that's
got
fair.
to,
Let me see if our stuff is uploaded or not.
I've got to go because I got to deal with some client stuff.
Yeah, I
No
gotta
problem.
go and take care of some business too.
we'll chat about next week's episode in Discord.
Sounds good.
That was really fun.
That was a great episode.
Yes, thanks,
All
guys.
right.
It was awesome.
Have a good day, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.